Hi everyone, welcome back to Thema Synthos. Grab your coffee, water, tea, whatever you're drinking, go and get that. How is everyone doing? We have some things that I want us to get over. This is supposed to be a chill live. After we're done, I'm going to go figure out if I should make it members only, but it's supposed to be a chill kind of live. So, how are you all? How are you all? Um,
If you're a man,
Made a video again. Let me show y'all this. Let me show y'all this. Now, sir, why would you put this out there? I don't understand. Like, why would you put your picture out there to be included? Like, you obviously just got a haircut. You just got a haircut. That's wild. That's wild. I'm not even going to do it. I'm not even going to do it. I just don't understand, like, why we don't take care of our skin. Oh, they're responding. Anyway, we'll go to the response. Ordered my ramen. All right, good. Get your feet up. Welcome, Kiana. Welcome to the membership. But let's see what the video is saying.
one way you could tell if you're ugly is if no matter what you do, people just don't fuck with you. It doesn't matter which you could do the coolest shit ever and people just don't fuck with you. You could be saying the realest shit ever, people don't fuck with you. You could be the nicest motherfucker ever and people just don't fuck with you. They just give you a terrible reaction every single time. They just don't like you for some reason. You feel me? And they avoid you at all costs. And I'm speaking from experience. Another way that you could tell if you're ugly.
You want to know something? He loves a choker. This boy right here. I'm gonna move on. This boy right here loves a choker. And look, let me show y'all what I want to do. Here's a look that I wanted to recreate with a choker once upon a time. Obviously, I'm not doing it now because I'm too grown. I am too grown. But let me show y'all it. This. Can y'all see that? I feel like that eats. And I have a long enough neck for it. Anyway. So, okay, you think you got it. Wait. Someone said you have potential, bro. Oh, you guys can't see what I'm looking at. You got potential, bro. There's some fixing here, bro. I see potential. He said, thank you. I'm gonna start working out more and get leaner. I'm 6'3". They don't like me. Oh, do people just drop their pictures in the comments and they determine if they're attractive? That's so interesting. That is so interesting. Oh, what is the? I'm gonna move on because people gonna piss me off. They're gonna piss me off. Well, let me tell you why people gonna piss me off. One of my least favorite things is when you don't take care of your skin. Someone said no audio. I can no. Can you guys hear me? Drop a 1 if you can hear me. Drop a 1 if you can hear me. Drop a 1 if you. Please drop a 1 because all right. So I not sure what is happening. Please leave and come back. We're gonna move past this because something that frustrates me. I hate when people do not put any effort into their skin. Like it's such a big part of who you are and how you show up that it's so frustrating to me. And I'm going to blame you every single time. Like every single time you show up without taking care of your skin, I'm going to blame you for it. So
One time.
I'm, I'm going to move on. I'm going to move on. All right. Oh, I'm not going to play that. I don't care about Amanda Seals. Oh, did y'all watch the Candace Owens debate? Did y'all watch the Candace Owens debate? So I hate to say this. I actually really do hate to say this, but if you didn't watch the Candace Owens debate, that's fine. Um, I hate this very much. But Candace Owens won her debate against some random guy. I don't know the random guy. Because here's the thing. How you gonna sit up there and say you have overwhelming evidence that Tyler Robinson did something or the guy did something and he's guilty, right? And then they ask you what were the charges, and you don't know you don't know so there's overwhelming evidence that he's guilty, but you don't know guilty of what. Like that was the last couple of seconds of the debate, and I'm sitting there like, no, no, sir. Like, so you just came here to waste. You gave Candace Owens $300,000 to debate her, and showed up without knowing what charges you're debating. Go, please. Overwhelming evidence, you said, and you don't even know the charges. And Candace Owens is a terrible, 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 terrible debater. Watching Candace Owens debate and not knowing anything for real about debate and structuring and argumentation is actually kind of insane to me. Yeah, no, that's insane. Like I'm watching this woman not know how to debate, and I don't know. Isn't is Candace Owens known for debating? I know Charlie Kirk was known for debating, but I thought Candace Owens was in the school of Charlie Kirk. And so I thought I like because I don't invest in Candace Owens in any meaningful way. I don't know, but I just assumed she was like a debater, like she debated, and she won her debate. Let's be very clear, but she's not good at debating. She's actually really, really, really bad at debate. Like when I say bad, I mean like insanely bad at debating. For someone who is getting attacked all the time, rightfully so, for her not to be able to actually defend her point and stand in a debate is actually insane. It's actually insane. Like I was genuinely surprised at how bad she was. I mean, she won, but she's a terrible debater. Anywho, it was a trash debate. I lost. There's nothing to disagree with. There's nothing to disagree with. There is not, unless you're saying you disagree that she won, we can have a difference of opinion. But Candace Owens is a really bad debater. Candace Owens is a really bad debater. So I want to know what you disagree with. Because we can differ on who won the debate, but you're gonna have to actually I need to know. I genuinely need to know what you disagree with. One, is Candace Owens a good debater? And two, who you thought won. Because that Andrew person, whatever his name is, debating, you cannot win a debate where you're saying your position is that there is overwhelming evidence that this guy did the thing. That is your position, right? And the thing is what he's being charged for. And you don't know what the charges are. You cannot, in a debate where you don't know what the charges are that you're debating, You cannot win. I am so sorry. You can't prove your point because you don't know what point you're proving. So I said chop immediately. Separately, Candace Owens is a terrible debater. Terrible, terrible debater. She does not know what an inference is. She does not know how to make a rational conclusion based on evidence. She does not know how to articulate herself as it pertains to how she moved from point A to point B. Um, there is a lot of inferences that she requires her audience to make on her behalf. She does not actually paint the picture. And I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, I thought when she did her podcast, I thought that was like intentional. I thought that she's not saying the quiet part out loud so that people can fill in the gap. But now it's looking like she just doesn't know how to fill the gap. like it was just like kind of insane watching. Again, she won the debate, but um to be honest, it really wasn't a debate. It was a debate. It was a debate. It was a full blown debate, and they were both trash. Candace was better because at least Candace Owens knew the facts of the case and knew the charges and seemed to know what it is that she's attempting to do. And Andrew realizing that Candace is not very good at debating, started leaning on debate rhetoric, like proving a positive fact or proving your arguments in a very specific academic way. Not even academic, like debate terminology. He leans very heavily on debate terminology that he knows Candace does not know. And I don't know, like, it's a weird thing to do because instead of having a conversation, you are caught up on got you moments of whether or not this person knew or doesn't know like debate terminology. Like it was such a like he lost because he's an idiot. Like honestly, let's be very clear. Like when you say positive evidence, what are the positive evidence? What are the positive evidence? Go shut up. Shut up. Like ain't nobody if you cannot draw an inference from for what he means by positive evidence, then period. But and you seem kind of dumb, but you can move on. You can explain what you mean by positive evidence and like just move on from it. Like you don't actually have to sit there talking about inference and positive. Shut up. Just have the conversation. So it's a chop. Andrew Wilson is, you just lost $300,000. I don't know where you got that $300,000 from, but you just lost it for no reason because you actually made Candace Owens look more valid than anyone thought she was. Ain't nobody listening to Candace Owens for anything outside of entertainment. Like, ain't nobody listening to Candace Owens. To be honest, it really wasn't a debate. Both our grifters agree, but Candace more invested with facts and does the research about what happened to Charlie Kirk. I don't know if Candace is doing any kind of research. Let's be very clear. Let's be very clear. But she was way more versed in what is happening than he was, and that was very clear. Not only was it very clear, it is also that is clear. It's also clear that Andrew don't care nothing about this case. That Andrew guy, okay, as misogynistic as he is, as manosphere as he seemed to be, he cares nothing about this case. So I am not sure why he was the one to attempt to debate Candace Owens. I don't even know what stake he has in it. Like I'm not even clear why he like I am so confused. I mean, I watched the entire thing, but I'm not sure why he's the one doing it. Like it's like the whole world is a stage apparently, and we're all performers because this don't make no kind of sense to me. You paid $300,000 for what reason? For what reason? Anywho, so that's that on that. Let's just move on. Let's just move on because that pissed me off. So there's this woman complaining online. Let me show y'all something real quick before we get into the other.
So somehow
I want to show y'all this girl because she I want y'all to hear what she says here, and then we go back to her little story. And let me know if I'm wrong, because apparently I am wrong. Apparently I'm wrong.
I'm being blamed now for being stood up. So it was my fault that I got stood up because I didn't communicate that the date was actually happening. Even though the day before we confirmed like 4 times where we were going, what time we were going. I shouldn't have to reach out again after, we confirmed it. Everything was fine. This just looks terrible. Just show up. Like everything was good. Show up. I showed up. Where were you? Where the fuck were you? And now it's my fault that I didn't text you, double fucking text you again. I'm not going to do that. Yeah, I'm fucking pathetic, I guess, but I'm not desperate. And I'm not going to beg and beg and beg and beg for you to hang out with me. Like, phone works both ways. What do you want me to do? I did enough fucking chasing.
All right, period. She said she's not desperate. She's that girl. How dare you tell her to text or double text or whatever. This is her the day of the date. This is her on the date.
So here's a fun story. I've been talking to this guy for like a month. And then he decided to end things because it was just like too much for him or whatever. He didn't really give me a reason besides he didn't think he could give me what I needed, blah, blah, blah. So whatever. The whole month after that, I was working on getting over him and it was really hard for some reason. I don't know. He did something to me where I just could not get over him. So I took it upon myself to reach out last week.
Sorry, this is not funny. My heart goes out to you, young lady. But he said he don't want you. Threw you out like trash. You pick yourself up and went back inside. I'm confused as to why after a man told you he don't want you, you gonna call him a month later talking about some I miss you. First and foremost, you go sit up there online talking about I don't know what he did to me. You said I don't know what he did to me to make me call him after a month when he dumped me. What he did to you is irrelevant. What you or the people around you did to you is more important. Sounds like you have low self-esteem. It sounds like you have a problem. You have attachment issues. Because ain't no reason. Ain't no reason. Someone said she young. She is young. I don't know. I mean, she looked like she's like 36, around 36. So yeah, she's a young woman, but like older than me.
After like, I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks. And I was like, hey, like I've been thinking about you. Do you want to get drinks? And he said, oh, I definitely would love to do that, but I'm going on a work trip, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay. I was like, well, maybe next week. Like, are you free on Wednesday? And he's like, yeah, definitely. Like, let's do it. He continued to text me that whole entire day on Friday, like nonstop. He ended up saying like, I really like, I high key miss you. And I know that's wrong of me to say since I ended things, but like, I missed you, blah, blah, blah. And he wished that I was with him on his work trip, whatever. So I was like, oh my God, like, yes, like I fucking made the right decision. Like, I'm so glad that I reached out. So
he said he missed you and he only remembered he missed you after you reached out. He missed you, but he only remembered he missed you after you reached out. He could have reached out to you. He could have been reached out to you if he missed you, girl. Like, I'm so confused. Like, so I get doing something for the plot. Right, like I get doing it for the plot, but to sit up there and pretend like you believe none of this is annoying me. We'll get to my question in a minute.
Fast forward to Wednesday, today, I hadn't heard from him yesterday or Monday, barely on Sunday, but I was just like, he's busy with his kids, let me not be, like super needy, whatever, because I'm not a fucking needy person.
You are a needy person. if you have to qualify your statement that you wanted to reach out to him, but you did not because you did not want to seem needy, you don't then get to say, I'm not a needy person. Nah, you're a needy person. You are. You are. You are extremely needy person in my book. Don't know you. And he has children, first and foremost. Second, do you have kids? Third, actually, how old are you? Fourth, it's giving needy. It's giving you're trying to convince yourself you're not. Because if a man told you he don't want you, left you for a month, and you reached out to him to ask him to go get drinks, it's giving needy. Don't actually know you, but it is giving needy. Since we want hard truth, here they are.
And he just wasn't texting me, but I was like, fine, like, let me give him his space. So yesterday when I hadn't heard from him, I reached out and I was like, hey, like, are we gonna go out on this date? Like,
so he ain't text you. He ain't text you for the date, and you reached out. Like, no, this idea that you need closure, that you want answers, I get it. I get it. I get it. I remember that Asian David story, and these men be running amok. I do get it. But this idea that you want closure is not actually true. What she wanted is what she wanted. Her ego wanted that man to pick her. And she was going to go through hell or high water to make sure that man picked her. That's all that is. Because you knew when that man left you for a month, he ain't want you. You reached out. He said, oh, I missed you. Let's have drinks sometime. He ain't tell you when or where. And then he ghosted you again. And here you go reaching out again. Are you sure? Hey, I don't know if you remember that we were trying to like link up. Think about that. Think about that for a second. Yes. Nah, Stefco got dragged. I can't drag Stefco and then revert. No. I ain't dragged no Stefco, by the way. Stefco did what she did. I dragged the situation, probably. A man or woman, a human being who actually cares about you and likes you is not about to have you wondering if he likes you by ignoring you for days on end. If y'all set up a date and that man or woman don't reach out to you to confirm anything, they don't want to go. It's a job immediately. And even if they want to go and they forget, that's not the person you want to be with if you care about someone investing in you. That don't make no sense. I'm not giving dating advice. Just my interpretation of things is very, very simple. If you're not putting in any effort, ain't nobody got time. if you're not putting in effort, nobody got time. So like this idea is very annoying to me. It's extremely annoying to me because it's like you have the answer, you don't like the answer, and so you're pushing for them to give you the answer you want. And people use people like that. Men in particular use women like that. But generally, you're setting yourself up to perform all your life, to fight for love. And I don't believe love is something you need to fight for. Like, it should feel easier. The relationship might not be easy, but like his attention or her attention should not be that difficult to get. Like, it should not be. It should not be that difficult to get. If you look at your text, you know when you're the one reaching out. Always the one reaching out. You know. Please stop. Ew.
Or what time, just, I didn't say, are we going to go? Because I didn't want to be like crazy. But I was just like, what time? You know, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, oh, my son has football, so it's going to be a little bit later in the night. And I was like, okay, cool. What time? And he was like, between 8:15 and 8:30. And I was like, okay, that's fine. Like, I'll see you there. So we confirmed the location. Everything was good. Today, I didn't hear from him at all. But I was like, and I was kind of worried, but not too worried, because I was like, whatever. We confirmed plans yesterday, so everything should be fine. So then I get home from work today. I get ready. I do my hair. I do my makeup. I put on these fucking nails. I shave my legs, like everything. And I get to the bar that we were meeting at, and I'm sitting there, and 8:15 rolls around. He's still not there. 8:30 rolls around. He's still not there. I'm like, okay, I'm going to wait till 8:45. Still not there at 8:45. And then 9 o'clock and nothing. And no, like, oh, sorry, I'm running late text, nothing. So I ended up texting him like, I'm here at 9 o'clock, but that's the same time I was literally put my car in reverse, and I was like, I'm fucking leaving. And nothing. I got fucking stood up at the ripe age of 27 years old. Mind you, this guy...
Oh, she's 27. I didn't hear this part. She's 27. I mean, I could tell, but she's a young lady then. I mean, we all do, I was going to say we all do weird things at 27. I'm sorry, I thought she was like 37 or 30 something. My bad.
has a daughter. He's a fucking 29. Like, what are you doing? Who does that to somebody? This is so mean. This is so fucking mean. It's just downright mean, disrespectful. And like, thank you for showing me who you are, I guess, but like, what the fuck? I'm so mad at myself. I'm so mad. I had a fucking feeling, but I didn't want to believe it. Fuck. So here.
All right. I don't want to care nothing more about what she got to say. My question is, yes, he is wrong. You don't stand people up. I actually think this is really mean and really disrespectful. So, like, I will never side with him. It is mean. It is wrong. However, this is when we talk about vetting specifically for women, and y'all tell me, because I don't actually know, y'all tell me, isn't it clear that he doesn't value? Drop a 1 if it's very clear to you based on her retelling that he don't care about her before the standing up. Like, drop a 2 if prior to him standing up it's like 50-50. Like, I just need to see something. Because, like, for me, I'm like, I would be, like, if I were her, I wouldn't even go online and cry. I'd be like, all right, well, that's an L I gotta take. I should have known. Like, I feel like I would have been like, should have known. If I got to the point where I'm on the date crying, walking home by myself, I'd be like, you know what? You know what? An L is an L. An L is an L. Let me just keep this private. All right, cool. So we are all on the same page. Let's make it a little bit harder. Right? Because these marriages are beautiful and amazing, apparently. So this lady came online, and I have another question for y'all.
Hey friends, today we're going to talk more about the nurse mistress, who has now decided to self-identify in a couple of embarrassing ways. So we're going to use her real name, okay? I was leaving her anonymous, now we're not. Her name is Heather Schade, okay? Everything I tell you about Heather in this video is going to be the truth, so you don't have to worry about defamation, because say it with me, besties, in order for it to be defamation, it has to be not true, okay? When I met my husband very early on, about 2 months in, we went to a wedding anniversary party for one of his friend's parents. And he told me before we got there, hey, one of my exes might be here. It was pretty casual. She was really obsessed with me. I called it off because it wasn't a good time for us, but she might be here. Okay, cool. I'm grown. I can meet your exes. It's not a big deal. We go in. She is there. It's Heather. Okay. She walks right over, shakes my hand, introduces herself to me, introduces me to her little date there for the evening. Cool. Okay. My husband and I then continue dating. And at some point, I see he's receiving text messages and texting back.
Mind you, at the stage, they're not married. And we don't learn this man's name till maybe halfway through this video. And she keeps saying, my husband, my husband, my husband. Right? So listen to the story where she is so obsessed with being chosen that all she can think about is my husband, because she done pissed me off. And I see everyone is like in love with her, say, yay, queen, blah, blah, blah. I'm not one of them people. I think this is pure trash for everyone involved, including her. So here we go.
With her, okay? Because we live together at this point. He moved into my house because he was homeless 2 weeks after we started dating, okay? And that's, I know, judgment call. But, so...
No. Ain't no judgment call. That's the first part where whatever train I would have been on with you, it's completely off. As immediately when you said you were dating a homeless man and you move him into your home 2 weeks after you met him, after you started dating him, just know you were wrong about pretty much everything. just know that you're wrong. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time for your fooling. Adrian, thank you for being a member for 53 months. Yeah, I know, it's a job. Immediately it's a job. So immediately switch out. Immediately.
He's laying in bed next to me. I see him texting her and I'm like, hey. And he's like, look, I'm sorry. This girl is, she's got her own issues and she also works in a psych ward. So she's really manipulative and I feel bad for her. So I answer these messages a lot. Look, in hindsight, was he gaslighting the hell out of me? Yes, he was probably fully still dating her. Okay.
You knew he was dating you and her and you were mad. You wanted to compete with her. That's that on that. Ain't no way you believed. Ain't zero way you believe that, oh, he just messaging. He didn't even show you the messages. Please. You were competing with that other girl.
That she was willing to be a part in that, but don't worry, she gets worse. So I'm like, hey, I'm actually not comfortable with you like being that good of friends with your exes. Like he had clarified to me that they had slept together. And I'm like, yeah, so you actually don't need to maintain relationships with people that you've had sexual encounters with, nor do I, right? Okay. Fast forward again, and we're at almost the year mark in, and I go out of town for the weekend. He goes to a country music concert at like a live music venue in San Angelo. And I come back the next day. My sister had been at that same concert and she's like, look, I need to tell you something. My husband, he was my boyfriend at the time, had been at the concert with Heather and they had been making out. And I'm like, okay. So I kick him out. And I have been candid with you guys. Like if you've watched my other stories, you know that I broke up with him once pretty early in our relationship, about a year in for infidelity. It was this instance. It was with her. Okay. So, at that.
So he lied to you, cheated on you, then lied to you somewhere. You broke up with him. This is before the marriage. I'm sorry. Yes, you can still be like, if that man is harmful in the marriage, he needs to be held accountable for that harm in the marriage, right? That is a period after that statement. There is no but, there is done, right? This woman is a problem. Because, like, what do you mean how did y'all get married? How does marriage, how does he leave from being homeless, texting another woman in your bed, cheating on you, and now y'all are married? She about to tell you.
Point in time when I find out about this, my sister tells me I also go in, okay, and I go into his phone, laptop, all the things, and he does have photos and videos of sexual encounters with this woman in like a hidden folder app. So I delete all of those. There were also videos of like previous women he had been with all the way back to his first wife. He had like kind of this little like nasty treasure cache. So I deleted everything. I mostly had gone in because I was worried he might have some of me.
Okay, does that make sense to anyone? Does that make sense to anyone? You went in to his phone in a secret thing folder to see if there is pictures and videos of you. You know there are because you sent them to him. And instead of deleting yours, you deleted everyone, not knowing if they consented to him having it. So you're just destroying this homeless man's property. Got it. This man ain't own much and you destroyed all his property. Let's continue. But what we do know is now she has access to all of those pictures. Now she can say she deleted them all she wants. She can say she deleted them all she wants. From my perspective, all this showed is that she had access. That is all I got from all of this. That she had access to his inappropriate material, because something is about to happen to them inappropriate materials in a minute.
I knew he had some photos of me, like I had sent them to him. So I went in to delete them, found the whole nasty little treasure trove, deleted everything, hard wiped it from every device, deleted all the things. Okay. I obviously didn't watch all of those videos in depth because I didn't hardly watch them at all because I don't want to see my husband screwing other people and I don't want to see other women like that. Okay. But like, as you're clicking through them, you see the beginning of the videos and she's like blowing kisses to the camera, things like that. Okay, weird. Anyways, delete them all. I leave him. I put his shit on the curb. I say, get the hell out. I end up moving to Abilene, another small town in West Texas, about an hour.
Period. Abilene. It's giving Abilene. I don't know what Abilene is. I don't know what Abilene is, but I don't remember her name. Her name is not Heather, but Becky is talking about Abilene, and she's moving her here. So Abilene might be a good town.
away within a couple months after that, right? Like we break up and I'm like, I'm not staying here for this man. So I relocate with my job. This man stalks the hell out of me. Okay. He ends up following me there. He shows up at my doorstep at 4 a.m. in the morning. He's showing up while I'm at work with his son in the car because I'm not going to like be rude to him while his kid's there. He's calling the office. He's sending flowers every day, pursues me heavily. I get back with him. He tells me it was a mistake. He apologizes. Nothing, that he got drunk and he made a mistake. Okay. Should I have forgiven him? No. Did I? Yeah.
Yeah. He got drunk and made a mistake. Was the drunk mistake him lying to you about why he's texting her in your bed? Was he drunk then? Was the drunk mistake about going to the concert with her? Was the drunk mistake about kissing her and sleeping with her? Was a drunk mistake about having pictures and videos of her and all the other women in his phone? What was the drunk mistake exactly? Can you dumb? Let's be very clear. let's just cut the foolishness and just get to the point. Ain't nobody got time for your foolishness. Ain't nobody got time for your foolishness.
The beginning of the end for me. Okay. After I just left him in 2026 in January, when I left him because I found out he was having an affair again, I did not know that my husband was cheating on me. I believed him when he told me all these things. So, there had been other interactions with Heather over the years. This girl, and he told me, this girl's obsessed with you because she wants me so bad. She is sending him messages. She is sending me messages. Her friends are giving me like mean eyes in public and stuff. And quite honestly, I've never done anything to this girl. I have been dating this man very publicly since the very beginning. I have been introduced to her.
Yeah. I get you heard right. And she's still not married yet. She just got married to this man in the story. So at this point, it's a chop. It's been a chop for her. If you were here trying to support her, just know you're wrong. Just know you're wrong.
As his girlfriend from the very beginning, and like what, she wants my man. And I get it, he was probably still dating her, but like I actually did nothing wrong in the situation. I just dated the man that I was dating, and it was never hidden. Okay. Anyways. So then fast forward a few years into my husband and I's marriage. And so she sends me nasty messages. It's like almost a joke. Every 6 months, she's got a little reminder to like harass Elizabeth or Michael. So like every 6 months, even years after they had stopped sleeping together, she is still sending these messages. So at one point, one pops up and it's to him and it's accusing him of spreading photos and videos of her on the internet. And she also sends me one accusing me of spreading the photos and videos of her on the internet. And she's alleging that they have been shared on sites where people share those kinds of things. So I go to my husband and I'm like, did you do this? Obviously I didn't do it. And I'm like, did you do this? And
wait, it is not obvious how is it obvious that you didn't do it? How is it not, like, how is it obvious you ain't do it? Because to me, so I ain't gonna say you did it, but you just announced to the world that you went into the folder on his phone where your husband, has pictures and videos of other women, one of which you know. And you're telling us that you deleted those pictures and videos. We could take your word for it that you deleted it, or we can think you're blackmailing someone, or that you're using it to threaten. Like, we don't know, right? But you just confirmed you had access to them videos and photos. You confirmed that. You confirmed you had access. So I'm going to drag both of y'all in and out them courts. If I were Heather, I'm going to drag both of y'all in and out them courts. Because I don't know why you would come online and confess to having access to them pictures. Oh, I deleted them. Sure, Becky. Because anybody believe you?
It's like, no, I'm telling you, she will do anything over the years to like try and get back. She'll do anything to stay relevant in our life. And again, I obviously believed him at the time.
Why would you believe that he didn't promote, pass these around when this man cheated on you, lied to you, was like, this man is a trash person. You're about to hear that this man also was like indicted for like DV at some point or abuse. She about to tell you that this man is absolute diabolical, and she knows this, but she believed him.
Don't know that that's true. Okay, he might have done that to her. I don't know where he would have had a copy of them because I deleted them all years prior, but I'm not saying he didn't do it. And if he did do it, he deserves whatever the punishment is for that. Okay, like absolutely, that's disgusting, that's trash. It doesn't matter what kind of a woman she is. No one deserves to have like that type of intimate photos and videos distributed of them. Okay, so I don't know if he did it. I don't know if he didn't do it. I know I didn't do it. Okay, so that's all I've got there. I have not blocked a lot of people on my TikTok. Okay, let me tell you who's blocked. My husband and his immediate family and friends that are still supporting him. The women that screwed my husband knowing he was.
It's weird that she keeps saying my husband, my husband, my husband. And yes, it's her husband, but you can just say Mike because you called him Mike. So like, why you keep saying your husband as if you won something? It's weird. It's almost like I got the ring. He's my husband. I just don't want him anymore. And she's going to say this explicitly at some point. But it's such a weird and diabolical thing to do when your man is trash. You know what I mean? Like yeah, your homeless man is trash, girl. I don't got time.
With me. And the men that come on my page and my comments and tell me that like I deserve to have my ass beat and women deserve to be beat. Okay. Those are the only category of people that are blocked on my page. So yes, Heather is blocked on my page because she is one of those people who knowingly screwed my husband for years. And then on top of that, did additional outreach to try and harass me. Okay. She's now made a fake page. I put up a video yesterday. So on top of everything she's done with me, everything she accused my husband of over the years, she is now hanging out with him and his mistress. This woman is a nurse. Not only is she a nurse, she's a nurse in, I'm calling it a mental health hospital for like lack of a better word. You can look it up. It's called St. John's. It's like, you go there if you need, like if you have a 72-hour hold type situation, you go there. If you need help, I think you can go there for like recovery from like drugs and stuff too. I'm not sure on the specifics, but like it's for helping people get through mental health crises. Okay. That's where she's a nurse. This woman who has actively done outreach to try and make me mentally spiral for years, who then accused my husband, known abuser. He's got 2 arrests. One of the women he abused.
My husband is a known abuser and has 2 arrests. Did you know this before or after you married him? Did you know this before and or after you married him? Because you coming out here dragging queen, period, eat down, run the house down boots or whatever them gay says. You said it, but like you still married to him, girl. Telling us where this girl work and all that. When your husband the problem. Doxing down queen boots.
Celeste, his realtor mistress, also has a record of assault family violence. Those are the people she's choosing to surround herself with in her free time. That's not the type of person I think should be working in a mental health facility, right? She's not.
Well, you're not hiring in a mental health facility now, are you? Are you? Are you the HR person? Please leave that woman's job alone. Toxic. Absolutely toxic.
Not a good person, guys. I don't know what to tell you. And you can say she's a good nurse till you're blue in the face. Okay, she's a bad person. So is she just totally turning that off when she goes to work? I don't know. Okay. Anyways, she made a fake account to continue putting comments on my page. And so I'm going to show you a screenshot of them. And I responded. She put the same comment on 2 videos and I responded twice differently. And I'm not hiding anything from you guys here. So I'm going to put up the screenshot so you.
I'm going to plug my computer in. I didn't realize it was going out. Okay. My question, because I don't want to be caught up here with Becca for forever. My question is, do you believe her? And do you think she's the one who put the tapes out? Do you believe she's the one who put the tapes out? Because I'm not saying she did it, right? But I'm not saying she didn't do it. And I'm thinking she might have had something. I was dumb. I didn't want to do this one because this one is kind of sad. Like I felt so bad for this girl. And as I was writing a comment to her about like what she should do in this case, as I started typing and going through what she said, I realized she dead wrong too. I realized this girl right here is also dead wrong. This has nothing to do with a man. This is about a job. This is about a job, and I'm not the one to be up here fighting for a corporation. But she wrong. I'm gonna fire her too. That like I wouldn't fire. Let me hear the story. Let's hear the story. We gonna see who we go side with.
Hey guys, I just got the worst possible fucking news ever. So, as we all know, I was supposed to be moving down to Tampa in 3 days. 3 days. I got my dream job. I found a beautiful apartment, and I was set to be down there on Thursday. And I received a email stating that because I submitted my documentation later than they would have liked, they're revoking my hiring process.
I submitted my documentation later than they would have liked. I want to know what the job is, and I want to know if there was, in fact, a deadline for submission of your documents. Those are the things I want to know. One, was there a deadline for submitting? And two, well, the deadline, and did you know? And did you miss that deadline? Because based on the kind of job it is, if you can't even submit your documentation on time without asking, or if you can't, not asking for a deadline or asking for an extension, we might have a communication problem. Yeah. If I tell you on the 15th, please have all documentation submitted, and you are going to come into a job where it is required that you are communicative and that you keep track of document and you're on top of everything and be organized, if that's part of the core competency that we're looking for in terms of the job position you're going to take, and you miss the deadline for submitting your documents for the intake, and you don't communicate, and you didn't ask for an extension, yeah, you're not getting the job. Unless you come back with like a reason. You know what I mean? Like there are always circumstances whereby you just couldn't, right? You just could not. So let's hear, because she thinks she gonna slick. She's slick, and that's what I was responding to. But then I realized, wait, I submitted my documentation later than they would have liked. That phrasing feels like you were like sidestepping a. It could be that they were just mean and they are wrong, and you could actually sue for this, but it is in Florida. It's right to work state. They can fire for whatever reasons. But I'm trying to figure out, like I'm legit trying to figure out what that means. And for me, the way we speak, I feel like that's an attempt at sidestepping accountability. I feel like you missed the deadline without asking for an extension or communicating, and then they were like, "Yeah, it's a chop." Also, you probably did not even sign your documents yet. There is generally a 6-week period where like you're getting tested for whether or not you fit, and you can be let go at that point. You need to make sure you're crossing and all the T's and dotting all the I's at this point. Again, not fighting for the corporations here, just trying to figure out whether or not this was a hard deadline that she refused to communicate with the job about, her dream job. And let's hear what she was doing in the meantime. In the meantime, when her documents were to be submitted, this is what she was out here doing.
So now I don't have a job there. I lost my dream fucking job. Don't have that job. I don't have my job here in St. Louis because I quit my job to go down there for this job. I can't get rehired at my job because my position was already filled. So I am jobless. And my lease for my apartment is up. I don't even have a bed in my apartment. I have nothing to sleep on. I have nothing in my house. I signed a lease and I'm jobless in both fucking places, and I don't know what to do. Like, I literally don't know what to do. This was not, like, planned. I did not have this even as an option. I called the lady at HR and was like, hey, like, what the fuck? Like, is there anything that I could do to like fix this? And she was just like, no, the position already got filled. Well, I know that's a lie because I literally went on their website and the position is still there and still on Indeed, so I just reapplied for it. But as of right now, I don't know what to do. Do I go down to Florida anyways? Because the fuck, I'm in the same predicament in both places, jobless, you know? Or do I just stay here and what? I don't even know what to do. I don't have a job. Like, I have my rent for my apartment in August, because I have to pay for half the month because my lease ends on the 17th. So yeah, like, I don't really know what to do. Like, this is just really, really, really unfortunate. It's no one else's fault but mine. I understand. So yeah, I just wish they would have let me know sooner, so that I maybe could not have done all of the shit that I did. But that's fine. That's no one else's fault but mine. And I'm just like really, really, really upset because, like, if you guys know, like, it's been my dream to fucking move there. That was my dream job. And I wanted it so bad. And then I managed to fuck it up. So yeah, like, I'm having a really, really, really hard day. A really, really, really hard and rough day. But it's okay. Everything happens for a reason. So yeah, I had a dinner party for tomorrow that I have to cancel because I'm not actually leaving. Guys, I feel like such a failure.
Okay, a couple of things. One, you're not a failure. Two, I need our generations. I need us to come together and figure out how to emotionally regulate better instead of doing it online for other people to help us with our emotional regulation. Because she's in some ways taking accountability, right? And she's just talking and she's expressing herself. No employer that sees this is going to be like, oh, come work for me, right? So that's the first. This is such a problem for me, but we're going to move past it because I do actually think that this is a young woman who is struggling to find her way in the world and failing. You found a new apartment, which meant you searched around and you figured out where it was that you wanted to live in Florida. Not only did you find an apartment, you signed a lease, you quit your job, and you were throwing yourself a party to go to Florida. And in this time where you were doing all of that, you did not submit the documents you needed for the job that you got. This is like the priorities are just not priority. Like I am so confused. I am genuinely confused because I sat down. First of all, you need to like cry, whatever, and then go focus on what it is that you want to do and how you're going to fix the issue that you find yourself in. To do that, I do think it's good to reflect on how you have failed, right? And part of how you have failed is creating this video. Where in the video you were saying, I wish they had told me sooner. Well, you should have submitted your paperwork sooner. Yeah, like, if you're going to take accountability, take full accountability. Again, she's emotional. It is what it is. We're not about to like drag her for being emotional. I just wish she wasn't emotional online, right? You found a job. You got a job. You can do it again. I believe in you. Do it. And next time, submit your papers on time. Make sure your job is secured before you start celebrating. I don't know. Probably didn't check her email. Oh, if that's the case, that would be real bad though. But she knew she had the job. She knew. Because she was throwing herself a celebration party. She just missed deadlines. And that's just not great. Anywho, now let's get to the debate. My question is not going to be asked because I do actually have a lot of empathy for her. The job market is tough. And if you have your dream job, that must really suck to have lost it. So I do feel a lot of empathy for her. I actually was going to respond to this video and like what I think would be useful next steps until I realized I had no idea what she was talking about. And what I thought I knew in listening, she intentionally withheld why she did not submit on time, if there was a time limit for submission, and what generally the job entails. So I can say, well, if you didn't submit on time, that could be indicative of how you would do in the role from their perspective. And that might be good enough to decide you're not the candidate they want, dream job or not, because you want something doesn't make it yours. Can't manifest your way into a job if you don't qualify for it. And apparently you did. Now you should have submitted your paper on time. Now, with that, yeah. I mean, I think part of it is about emotional regulation and wanting other people to emotionally regulate for you, which is why a lot of people are crying online. Um, in this specific way. I don't generally like it. So anyway, let's get into this debate because I did watch some of it on Sinji's channel. And from what I saw, y'all gonna really hate me. Let's be very clear. Y'all are not about to agree with me. If you're a Christian in here, you're gonna be mad. And if you are a new age thinker person in here, you're going to be mad too. Let me be very clear. Let me put my bias up front. I am a Christian. I don't do apologetics, so I will never be debating or trying to convert anyone to Christianity, right? Because I see the Bible. When I say I'm a Christian, people going to be mad because then I say this. I see the Bible more like stories on how to understand the world as opposed to like a historical document. And so when you said, if you ask me, this is something that Jordan Peterson said that we laughed at him for, but I actually agree with the question. When you ask me, Themis, do you believe the Bible is real? My question to you will be, what do you mean by real? And that will annoy everyone. That about that about to annoy everyone, including Christians. So my conception of the Bible is that there is a God, that it might be very similar to the God of the Bible, and the stories in the Bible are just parables about how to live your life, and most of it didn't happen. So it's just that's just that on that. I mean, if you, Themis, do you believe that Eve was created from Adam's rib? I'm gonna tell you to go ask someone else that question because they know that I'm not about to say yes to it. And there's a part of me that's not gonna say no either because like I'm so afraid of going to hell. Because I grew up in Jamaica and they have a strong Baptist presence. There's this thing where they preach, and I think this is abuse. I think that what we do in Jamaica is abuse of children. Because from an early age, everything you did, they told you were gonna go to hell for. And so like I grew up with a very specific and distinct fear of hell. So, like, even when I know what I want intellectually and how I argue and what I think about intellectually, it is very difficult for me to articulate it because of that fear of going to hell. And I think the only reason I'm still a Christian is that fear of going to hell. But I do believe that the Bible is very useful in how to live a good life, specifically the New Testament, but and to understand people and like faith without works is dead feels like a very motivating kind of thing. You know what I mean? So I just wanted to put my bias up front. I'm putting my bias up front. Hey, Themis. Hey, Alyssa. I'm so glad you to see you discussing this debate, and we can never be mad at you. Oh, hug, hug, hug. I wish I did. You go? Question. Did you go to Afro Nation this year? I did not, and I'm very mad about it. I should have gone. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Love you loads. All right, let me play the intro and then we'll come back to the debate. So I hear the lady who does this like to copyright thing people's channel. So ain't nobody about to get copywritten things. I can fight it, but I'm gonna be off for the next 2 weeks. Traveling, so ain't nobody got time to be fighting out here in these streets, YouTube street. So you might not hear it. I will put it on the screen every now and then, but you'll only hear the sound. So I'll show you who is who, and then we continue.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Dr. Dap Show. Today, I'm here with one new age lady, Jasmine, and 20 Christians, and we're going to have a conversation around faith. Jasmine has her own prompts, and I'm sure you're feeling ready. How you feeling?
I'm really excited.
You're excited?
Yeah, very.
And we're excited as well.
That is Jasmine. She's the new ager. She's the new ager. Fear you. They don't care. What happens is they do a copyright claim. The channel gets this thing on it. I have to fight it. I have never lost a copyright claim fight, and I just don't want to do it. You know what I mean? Because these people are annoying. Under the fair use doctrine on YouTube, we can add to and engage with other people's content. That's the whole point of going on YouTube. But there are content creators like this one, and Tasha K does it too. And a lot of other people do it where they don't want anyone responding to. Like, if I take your content and I play a large chunk of it without engaging with it, then yes, copyright claim. But a lot of these people just wants to isolate their own content and not want anyone to engage with it in terms of critique. And this is some dumb foolishness, low self-esteem, useless engagement that I will fight against. Generally, I just don't want to do it for this specific video. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't got the time or energy right now. But these people annoy me. And the lady who does this show, she is very much Christian. And a lot of her views come out in a lot of moderating that she does, which is very annoying. By the way, as a Christian, I'm saying this because she does not know how to give people the room. She actually input her biases in the way that she moderates. So hopefully we don't see it here. The Bible, you can sell your daughters to slavery and meet your slave demons. That's very useful to live a good life. You're talking about the Old Testament. After Jesus came and died, there was a new covenant. So, like, step your cookie up before they crumble. Now, the question is, why did Jesus have to come and die? And you and I can go and tussle. You and I can tussle. I see why y'all dragged me.
Have you go ahead and take it away.
Okay. Crystals possess genuine healing and spiritual energy that can positively impact our lives.
I'm Jasmine. I'm Nia.
Hi.
I'm Janine.
I'm Kalia. Hi. Crystals possess genuine healing and spiritual energy that can positively impact our lives. I do believe that there are energetic properties that come with crystals, and so that's why I chose this prompt. I know there's often an association of crystal usage being demonic because it is not of God, but crystals are also mentioned in the Bible, and they are mentioned in specifics, like with the breastplate of righteousness. There's sardonyx, there's lapis lazuli. Lapis lazuli, for example, is great for strength. That is one of its energetic properties. Makes sense as to why God would choose.
And she's talking, the Christians are mad, and I'm sure they want to tell her she about to go to hell. Like, as a Christian, I can tell you exactly what these Christians are. I can tell you exactly what these Christians are thinking. I can tell you exactly what these Christians are thinking. Wait, do not think I've come to abolish the law. Themis, Jesus abolished the law. Period. There is the Quran is very different in terms of the engagement with their text versus the Bible, the New Testament. And to say, when we talk about like abolishing the law, we're talking about access to forgiveness and prayer and not having to do sacrifices as we once did in the Old Testament, right? And the sacrifice of Jesus Christ that led to the kinds of forgiveness. For me, it's not even about like this person did come here and die and was risen from the grave. Like, obviously, you have to believe that in a lot of Christians' mind to even be Christian. But for me, it's not even about that. It's about who has access to God, quote unquote, and the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, and in what way. And so for me, that's the question. That is the question about my own faith that I'm grappling with around sort of, do I even care to answer it? I am not fighting you all. You guys can believe whatever you want to believe. I'm a Christian, and it ain't going to change until I feel like I'm not gonna go to hell. So.
One of those as something to go in a breastplate. So that's why I chose this one.
Awesome. The first thing I want to ask you, and I won't ask a bunch of questions. Okay. I just want to be able to begin a dialogue. Sure. What science do you believe or have you found to confound the claim that crystals possess healing energy?
So,
what science do you have to support your claim that crystals provide healing energy? The same science you have. Wait, the same science you have to prove anything in your Bible. The same, girl. Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I refuse. If I were the new ager, I'm not answering your question. I am absolutely not. I am not answering your question. Absolutely not. Are you sitting up here asking me about science? What science do you have to prove that you were created from a rib? Beautiful young lady here with the mic to her mouth. What science have you found that you can provide that you were created from a rib? A man's rib. Yeah, that's some audacity. I would actually feel disrespected by that question. I literally would feel disrespected by that question. Faith is belief in the unseen, right? We've been told this over and over and over in church. So for you to be asking her for science is absolutely diabolical work. I think this is disrespectful.
When I think of the science behind it, it's not necessarily that science has said these vibrations match love. But if you see pink, more often than not, pink as a color, because color theory exists, is associated like the color that you're wearing. It's very soft. It makes you feel maybe a little bit more calm, just like the color lavender. So I think the same way colors have an influence and music would have an influence, crystals have the ability based off how they look to make you feel a certain way. And when found in mass, in caves and things of that nature, there may be an overwhelming energy that you feel from that. So that's my standpoint on it. It's not necessarily that I believe scientists said that's not what it is. When we think of healing properties, all things that heal don't have to be through the methods of, I want to say this carefully, science, because you can heal emotionally. And I'm sure there's like a scientific connection to that. But I think if a song makes you feel good, like, has there ever been a song that got y'all through something? Well, then that song has healing properties. The artist that sung that song may have an anointing or a calling or whatever to sing. So their voice has healing properties. So this crystal has healing properties. Okay. That's how I see it.
So you would say
you still haven't answered the question about how crystals have healing properties. So, by the way, I'm not saying crystals do not come at me in the chat. I'm literally responding to argumentation. And this woman, and I realize that a lot of y'all like her because I saw it over on TikTok, and y'all not gonna like me because this is not an answer. You can say, when you listen to music, it can heal you, period. Eat down, I agree. Now connect that to how crystals have healing properties, please, quickly, immediately. How do you prove that crystals have? Because the thing is, you can say, I ain't gonna prove nothing to you. It's my belief and it is what it is. But if you went in there to come explain some things to me, we gonna have a problem. Yeah, we gonna have a problem. Now, if you, instead of defining that, like instead of drawing an analogy between singing and crystals, you could have found crystals that actually heal. Like there's some kind of salt. Someone wrote this in the comments too. That like you cannot debate that can be useful for healing. You know what I mean? So like maybe you should have. I don't know. She answered the question. I'm not about to answer the question for her, but she did not answer the question. And you could have dragged the person who asked you about it, like, what signs do you have? That deserves a drag immediately, quick, fast, and in a hurry. And then you can answer on the back end that there are kinds of crystals that, like, some people call certain salts crystal, even though we know that's not what you meant by crystals, right? And they put it in their bath. And it's very healing. No, absolutely not. I'm not doing this with you.
Healing properties are more so something that is experienced and observed by humanity. Okay, cool. Because I was going to say, you know, I've had a few conversations with New Agers, and there tends to be kind of this co-opting of scientific language to push forth that they are affirmed by science. And a lot of it tends to be like a pseudoscience or just like a misunderstanding of the science. I actually read a holistic medical journal from Nelson Mandela University, and they were talking about how amethyst is associated with not getting drunk, and then another crystal, another crystal was associated with not being poisoned. And I looked that up, and it was confounded in Greek mythology and confounded in Roman mythology. So I think it's important just for the viewers as well that like a lot of this is confounded in mythology. And if you believe in mythology, then that's okay. But I think the claim crystals have healing properties can insinuate that there's a science.
Absolutely. I do think there should always be like a differentiating or a specification as to what the healing property is, because I've worn amethyst and then went out to the bar and got plastered. So I know for sure it doesn't keep you from getting drunk, but that's not a claim that I would make. Normally when we talk about amethyst, we talk about its association to the crown chakra. So its ability to help provide knowledge, but that's because purple is associated with royalty, and royalty, normally they were the most knowledgeable, the most educated. So academics. So there are always these correlations, but I am not one that's like, oh, if you put these crystals on your body.
Oh my God, she's so bad. She is so bad. Because the way that crystals are used generally, like you can say, yeah, there are people who believe crystals to be this very one specific thing, and you put it in the sun or the moon to charge it, and it can clear out bad energy, give you good luck, whatever. But you could literally say there are also salts are kinds of crystals, salt crystals. We use it to cook, we use it for shower, well, not shower, but bath. Like I think she's, or like the crystals that we use to power phones. And I just don't understand why the New Agers' understanding of crystals is like, I don't understand why it's also very limited. Like, I was hoping.
I don't know, maybe but that's not my personal belief, and it's not that science has said these crystals can heal.
Fair.
What do you think?
Yeah, I just want to talk really quick about you said like crystals being in the Bible.
Yes.
And I know the main two instances are, like you said, the breastplate of Aaron, that's in Exodus 28.
This is who is talking, by the way.
And then the New Jerusalem, which is in Revelation 21.
Yes.
And I just wanted to touch on the context of the scripture. So for Aaron's breastplate and the New Jerusalem, both times those crystals are in symbolization of the 12 tribes of Israel.
Right.
So in each time, in each context, it's just symbolization of the 12 tribes. Like, I guess, let me just get more of your thoughts on like, what do you see the crystals have in scripture that makes you believe that they do possess those properties?
I love that question.
Yeah.
If they represent the 12 tribes of Israel, I think there would be a reason as to why God would name each specific crystal per specific tribe of Israel. So lapis lazuli, sardonyx, and I'm just going to name random crystals just because I can't remember the ones in the scripture right now. So let's say like clear quartz. The clear quartz tribe may be associated with those that have a clear thought. They tend to possess more clarity. Whatever the crystal is that God associated with that tribe, I would assume it's because that tribe has a certain reflection, certain symbolism. So I still see the crystals as symbolism for certain things. I'm not taking away from that.
So I guess more so the question I have is, with Aaron's breastplate and with the New Jerusalem, the foundation of the New Jerusalem, what would you like? What would happen, or like what would, I guess I'm a little confused on how you are taking the crystals from the scripture and like kind of just saying that they are able to do, said things.
I mean, the Bible did say that the breastplate shine like God's glory or something like that. Girl, please. You ain't even got to go too far to say that there are ways outside of just beauty, which we can infer that it might have been a decoration put on people because it's beautiful. But to say shine with God's glory might be interpreted differently. So I'm just not going to sit here and have this girl gaslight me. I'm not this one. She's not about to gaslight me and say we ain't read what we read in the Bible. I just not gonna be gaslit.
Well, the crystals are placed in the scripture. They are named in specific, like he chose 12 of them. And to have the specific names of the crystals, I think if God just wanted it to be just stones, he would have just left it at stones. He wouldn't have named stones, then told us what the stones are. So based off the history.
Not just what they are, what they represent in their color, their beauty, in God's glory. Like, yes, there is also a warning, and I wish the Christians would point out the warning against engagement, right? But that means there is something else to it. If God is warning you against using crystals or divination or whatever, it feels like there is something else there. You know what I mean? And you can say, well, it's demonic, period, it's down. But there is something else there, even if you call it a demon. Yeah, we're not going to play these games. I'm not playing these games with these Christians either.
Historical, and when I say historical, I just mean those that have been working with crystals for a long time, the properties that are associated with them. I just think that maybe there is a connection between the specific crystals. Again, like lapis lazuli, I'll go back to that one. Not only does it represent strength, it's very good for wealth, very good for money. So maybe the merchants, I don't know which tribe had lapis lazuli, but I don't know why God chose to give that tribe. I don't know what the tribes of Israel, those 12 tribes, meant to God, who they were in specific by name. Because if I knew them by name and their specific traits of the tribe, then I would be like, oh, well, let's look up the crystal and see if there's a correlation between the two. But again, I'm not saying because these crystals are in the Bible that's why they have healing properties. I'm just saying there's not a reason to demonize them because God created crystals. So anything of God's creation cannot be
I definitely get what you're saying. This last thing. So one thing, I've had my own whole experience of coming to the Lord, but one thing that I do know is 2 Corinthians 11:14 says, even Satan disguises himself as an angel of light. And I do believe that in the world, Satan has allowed so many things to confuse us as humanity. Absolutely. So I can't really subscribe to crystals just being or having this property to be able to, like heal people. That's all.
Yeah.
I can't subscribe to it because the Bible said you shouldn't. Okay, that's your belief. She said, crystal possesses genuine healing and spiritual energy that can positively influence our life. You say, well, the Bible told me not to believe that. Okay, girl, and what about? Like, why? That's not a debate. Like you're not debating. Like, who gonna do what with that? Like, what are we supposed to do? Oh my God.
So I wanted to say to that point, you spoke about how, God created crystals. And so, it's something that
Let me show you who is talking now. The next question is her.
he did. And the Bible talks about a couple of things about how he uses the foolish things of the world to confound the wise. And in that, there are things that God created that he placed for us to admire, to see, and to look at, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it has a specific power. You talked about how these particular crystals and stones and things are referenced in the Bible, but it was not put in scripture as a form of protection or it's going to do something. It has a power. It's a symbol that God is showing for you to look at, to admire, or whatever God is trying to connect with these stories for you to see and different things like that. So I guess what I'm saying is, where do you believe in scripture that it points to this thing has the power and not God? Because God will also...
She was not listening. She did not say this has power because of scripture. She did not say that. She very specifically said that she does not rely on the Bible to tell her whether or not these crystals have power. And you're telling her to find authority in the Bible for why these crystals have power. Like, why would you do that? The person who does not believe in Christianity is not going to use the Bible as their point of reference. She only did that because y'all keep bringing out the Bible. And she said, but even in the Bible, crystals are there. However, I am not using the Bible as an authority for why I believe what I believe. Am I... It is always at the tip of their tongue. Like, I don't understand. Like, you cannot, like, oh my God.
Call us to utilize things, see things, and from that, the power can be used, but we're giving to him the glory.
The same way there would be the mother of the church that has the ability to lay hands. Our mother of the church, Madeira, she had the ability to lay hands. So that's God moving through someone. I didn't and don't believe that the crystals by themselves have power. No, I believe the wielder, the person holding the intention behind the person using the crystal, is what influences power, your intention. And so the symbolism in the Bible, because again, I've heard y'all mention symbolism 3 times now. What is the reason God used that symbolism? What does the symbolism depict then? That's my question. Yeah. Right. But what do those 12 tribes of Israel represent?
I would say that I would say that crystals in all of God's creation emulate his glory. So they're pictures of his glory. I think that it's more so not a matter of whether or not the crystal has power. I would ask whether or not it's spiritually safe that crystal has power. Because
okay, so you can see that crystals have power, period. All right, next case. You were saying your Bible said not to use the crystal because that's not authority through God, right? You're asking for access to the spiritual realm, and you're doing so with something that is not valid. In the Bible, the only way through the spiritual realm to prophesy, to heal, to see into the future, to do the things that people describe as witchcraft is through the authority of Jesus Christ, right? Through the blood, you can access the spirit realm. I know a lot of American churches do not engage in the power of the blood. Like a lot of Christian churches in the United States do not engage with the power in Christ. But it's there. There is another way to access these kinds of power, though Christians will say they are invalid and they're not as strong. An example of this, actually many examples happen through throughout the Bible, even with the pharaohs and their magician mimicking the power of God, but the power of God was stronger because obviously you're reading it through the lens of the Bible. There was power there. So your argument becomes absolutely invalid when you say, oh yeah, the crystals have power. It's just that power is not of God. Well, it doesn't matter. You can believe whatever you want about where the power comes from. Once you concede it has power, then we just have a difference of opinion of whether or not it's good or bad. I would never concede it has power. Like, I'm never going to concede it has power. To be fair, I'm not going to concede none of this has power. I mean, just look like you're dumb. Like, how you literally have one teeth in a hut talking about you're casting spells on behalf of people while you're in abject poverty, girl, please. All right. Let's move on.
You said in the first prompt, you believe that there's a pantheon of gods, right? Gods were created by us. And because of that, there are gods that are not fully benevolent creatures, right? So for instance, the Egyptian god Hathor Sekhmet, associated with turquoise, she was on a commission to kill all of mankind, and Ra had to step in because she became infatuated with the bloodshed.
Bloodlust.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
I love that story.
He had to give her a fake blood to satiate that desire.
He flooded the river with wine.
Right. And so if people are not in the right intention or not channeling the power of the crystal or if there's a negative deity.
This is true. I had to Pentecostals do. Sorry.
I won't say negative deity, but a deity that has negative attributes, not fully benevolent, associated with a crystal, then how can you say that it's a spiritually safe practice or that it's an always healing practice to engage with the crystal?
I think.
Did she ever say it was always healing? And this is why the new ager annoys me. One, she don't know how to debate, so I don't know why she's debating. Two, is she's also not listening to them because they're not listening to her either. Let's be very clear. They do not care about nothing she has to say. But this is not something you respond to. You never said, and if you said it, you're dead wrong. You never said that the powers from the crystals are always healing. You ain't never said that. So now you need to tell her, girl, please get out of my face. Ain't nobody said that.
It being associated with other pantheons is just the way other people have associated it. Just because somebody, like the Bible, for example, all pastors are not good pastors. So all pastors do not come and preach and read that word of God with the same intention. I know pastors that have stood up in the pulpit to be able to take from their congregation. And then I know the ones, he did my wedding, Pastor Christian A. Smith. That is a genuine man. He loves God and he also loves his congregation. So I know when he gets up there to preach, it is to be able to help people work through whatever it is. So when I think about the crystals, and I really want to hear from you, Jasmine, I'm going to stop talking so you can talk actually.
So I was just trying to figure out exactly what you do believe, because I know you already vocalized that you don't believe that the crystals have power.
Not scientifically, no.
Not scientifically. So you believe that spiritually they have power?
I believe spiritually you can wield power through them. Yes, I think you could wield power through anything, but yeah.
Okay, because I know what I was thinking about was the study that they did.
She's the one talking right now. She's about to cite a study. She said, what I do know is there's a study that they did, and I am very curious about this study that this Christian is about to throw on this new ager. Because for every study you throw to her, I'm going to throw 10 back at you. For every study you throw my way, I'm going to throw 10 back at you, because ain't nobody got time for this. like, we're not about to go into the world of empirical research on these belief systems. We're not about to do it. Absolutely not. No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
Where they found out that crystals, people who were given genuine crystals versus people who were given placebos, it was done in 1999 and also in 2001 by Christopher French, and they found that there was no difference.
Right.
And that
she just said the crystals do not actually have the power. It is the person's own belief. So if you give them fake crystals, then maybe it is their belief that actually healed them and not the crystals. Did you listen to what this woman just said? You threw the study out there and it does not actually disprove what she said. Let us hear if the new ager actually was listening to confirm that you just reaffirmed what I said.
Then they redid the study in 2025 to do something a little bit more recent. And they found that when they spoke to people and they kind of told them what they would feel when they had the crystals, whether it was real or fake, the people who responded to it were the people who were told that they were going to feel something. So I feel like the thing about it is
the crystal is a wand, and the wand is not where the magic is. It's just an instrument for accessing powers. So I don't know what y'all doing. I don't want to do this with y'all anymore, because even someone like me who just very tangentially look into like the spirit realm and understanding what's happening from people's perspective, understand that these witches don't actually believe this. It's about their intention. So it is weird to me that I said these witches. My Discord gonna drag me for that. But like, it is weird to like for y'all to be sitting up here arguing something she ain't argue. And I don't even trust her to push back meaningfully. I actually don't trust the new ager to push back meaningfully.
we agree. I don't agree that there's any scientific evidence. I agree.
Girl, I don't believe there's any scientific evidence. Give me the scientific evidence that Jesus rose from the dead. No? Because since we're doing empirical scientific evidence, let's do it, please. And she's just sitting up here doing nothing.
That it all comes from faith. But I think the issue is when you are saying I can gain this spirituality from something, is where that faith is being put into and then what you're inviting in.
Oh,
And
for
I
sure.
feel like New Age spirituality sets a lot of people up to invite things into their life that will end up possessing them. Like even when she talked about, you know, the bloodlust and stuff like that. I didn't even know about this. Or it's like, that's crazy. But it's like, that's something that you see a lot of the time is that people are saying, hey, you know, it's okay to just have faith in this thing. And what you're actually conjuring up is something demonic.
Right.
I'm so disgusted by this. And let me tell you why. I find this hugely disturbing. They are not debating. They're not even having a conversation. The Christians are here preaching about what they believe, just preaching. It's not argument. It's not a debate. They literally are just quoting the Bible and calling everything demonic. Okay, fear. And the New Ager is just there defending her New Age belief in the context of the Bible. That is it. That is not a debate. That is not even an interview. This is a humiliation ritual where you have to sit there as a New Ager and conform your belief to their Bible or biblical worldview. That's an insane, like, don't even accept. If you're debating them, you don't have to accept their worldview. You do not have to accept their worldview.
And I know that's the reason why a lot of Christianities will identify it as demonic, because if it's not coming from God, it's coming from somewhere.
Exactly.
And even how New Age, the New Age spirituality came together was through, you know, it was founded by the Theosophical Society, the combination of Buddhism, Hinduism, and occultism.
Right.
And
yeah, please get out of my face. Please get out of my face. I think I saw this clip where the New Ager is going to explain, we call it New Age, but it's actually older than the Bible. Because the one thing you're not about to say is, oh, we just threw together this thing. And that's how we got there. By we, I mean America, the world.
And a lot of people who are joining it don't even know.
So real quick, I am a spiritualist. I am an eclectic occultist. So traditional spirituality would be Christianity, Judaism. There's a lot of forms of traditional spirituality. So I would also consider myself a traditional spiritualist. So it's not that I subscribe to the New Age spirituality that you're talking about. And most of us as witches and spiritualists do not subscribe to this idea of being able to experience spirituality through a crystal. We're not idiots. So most of us think that crystals are just a tool. They're always just a tool. The Bible can be a tool, but you don't have to have your relationship through God through the Bible. You're supposed to experience God personally. So crystals do not have to be your way into spirituality for you to have a spiritual experience. I wear crystals. I wear this moonstone set and opalite mosaic, but it's because it's pretty. I like the way that it makes me feel, and I like the way that it looks. But when I say I like the way that it makes me feel, I like how it looks against my skin, and it makes me feel more feminine when I wear it, because moonstone is associated with femininity and the moon is beautiful to me. So anything that represents the moon or looks like the moon, it just makes me feel good because I like looking at the moon, especially when it's casted over water. So it doesn't have to be that.
Yeah, I was just going to say really quickly, you reference the Bible a lot about what it says about crystals and about all these different things. What do you feel about what the Bible says specifically about using things outside of the will of God, divination, all these different things that contradict what the Bible says specifically?
So because I am using the crystals as a reference point in the Bible, doesn't mean that I have to agree with everything in the Bible. It's just my way of being like, they were also mentioned in the Bible for this reason. So when Christians just demonize crystals, I don't think that's right, because they're in your Bible. And if you use them through the power God has given you or through the power of God, then there is nothing demonic about that. So my whole point is just so Christians stop demonizing them as a whole. Because if I gift you the 12 crystals from the breastplate of Aaron, and you're like, these are demonic, you would have to explain to me why, because these are the crystals that God chose. And
Okay. I actually like her response here. The reason I like her response here is she's telling them, because they've been annoying me this entire time, like to the point where I almost checked out of this debate. They've been saying, why do you keep using the Bible to justify crystals? The Bible doesn't justify crystals. And she's like, girl, I literally just used your worldview for a second. I don't actually need to rely on your worldview. She said that multiple times, and they keep saying, oh, it's not in the Bible. It's not in the Bible. And she keeps repeating, I'm not needing the Bible to believe what I believe. I'm saying even in your Bible, in your worldview, crystals are more significant than ornaments. That's all I'm saying. Period.
I'm not giving them to you to be demonic. I'm giving them to you because they represent the 12 tribes of Israel, blah, 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 blah. So that's my only thing, is that I do not believe crystals inherently are demonic.
So your perspective is that crystals, sorry, my bad. I just want to clarify because I know we're about to wrap up. So your perspective is that crystals are more experiential than they are scientific.
Yeah.
And they can be spiritually dangerous if wielded with the wrong intention.
Anything can be spiritually dangerous if wielded with the wrong intention. So yeah.
Okay.
I just want to say, I'm so sorry. I just want to say Ephesians 6:12 says, "For we wrestle not against powers and principalities, but against
flesh and blood." Yes.
Yes. And I just want to say that
She even misquoted the Bible. Girl, she even missed it. This is one of the most quote Ephesians 6:12. But let me go back. I'm sure she misquoted this whole thing. Let me.
So you're saying that you said it earlier that
perspective is that crystals, sorry, my bad. I just want to clarify because I know we're about to wrap up. So your perspective is that crystals are more experiential than they are scientific.
Yeah.
And they can be spiritually dangerous if wielded with the wrong intention.
Anything can be spiritually dangerous if wielded with the wrong intention. So yeah.
Okay.
I just want to say, I'm so sorry. I just want to say Ephesians 6:12 says, "For we wrestle not against powers and principalities, but against
You see that, for we wrestle not against principles. To be fair, this is just a slip up. But like, what the reason I find this funny is there is no reason for you to be quoting the Bible right now. So the fact that you're doing it and doing it wrong is very funny. She said we wrestle not against principalities. Period. I agree. We wrestle against flesh and blood.
And blood, yes.
Yes. And I just want to say that I just think that is something very dangerous to subscribe to. Just because
What
it's
is
just
my
like
subscription?
So you're saying that you said it earlier that you just kind of you believe that there are spiritualities that can be dangerous, right? Like anybody that possesses this type of spirit in their heart, it can be dangerous, correct?
Yes, Christians can be dangerous. I would argue, actually, if we go through slavery and them very good Christian people who enslaved a bunch of us, yeah, definitely anything can be dangerous, including Christianity. Like, let's not do that. Let's not do that. Because if we go through historically and try to figure out if the New Agers harmed more people or so-called Christians harmed more people, you might not actually like the results. And what you tend to do in those cases is say, oh, they weren't real Christians. Well, she can say, oh, they weren't real New Agers either. Please. I don't like this, and I don't like that the Christians don't know how to argue. I don't like that the Christians don't know why they believe what they believe. I actually know why I believe what I believe. It's completely sort of illogical, but I will own that. This is why I don't debate people about my faith. My faith is very, very personal to me. Very. And it might be illogical to a lot of people. They might drag me. I care nothing about your opinion. Right? This is a problem. Because when you're sitting up there saying you're going to debate your faith, I'm going to expect you to be able to present something uniform. First of all, you ain't even proved anything about your faith right now. None of y'all. And I am sorry to tell y'all, the New Ager ain't doing too well either. The New Ager ain't doing too well either. Oh, I haven't forgotten. I'm just pointing out that the idea that you are going to talk about what evils can befall people because they're New Agers completely ignore the fact that so-called Christians have been running amok. Like, we literally have men all through Atlanta talking about how they're preachers, and on the pulpit, in the pulpit on Sunday, screaming against homosexuality while cheating on their wives with men and abusing young children. So I'm gonna need y'all to not. No, like, this is the problem for me. Christians thinking they have the moral high ground is a problem for me. In this year 2026, in Donald Trump's America, this is a problem for me.
Yes.
So I'm just kind of saying that our scripture lets us know and warns us about different things. And I'm not a person that like to mess with fire. Okay, so it would just be kind of like a little, I don't know, like I'm
right.
not
but nobody's forcing you to use the
yeah, no, I agree.
And I also wanted to say that crystals are not demonic. God made everything. He looked at it and he saw that it was good. But the issue is that the way that people are using them,
but
and the manner
is not using them in a demonic.
Yeah. Also, do they not see that crystals are not demonic because God made them? Did God make Lucifer? Did God make demons? Because you can't say the thing can't be demonic because God made it while God also made demons. Put me on the stage. New Ager, sit down. I got a question for my fellow Christians because we don't have a problem. We are at a paradox that I have seen Christian apologetics try to address, and I've enjoyed those debates, but you brought it up and you don't seem equipped to actually handle the argument you just made. So tap me in. Put me in. Put me in. God was wilding. You can't say it cannot be demonic because God made it while God made demons. God did make yeah, he did. Bible said it. Now what? Now where are we?
Yeah, not everybody.
I understand anything outside of God is going to be considered demonic to Christians because if not of God, then of what? So that I understand as a former Christian.
I think it's the heart of a person that's demonic, not
but if
Christian.
right.
I think
so
that's where we
if
kind
the
of agree.
person's heart is not demonic though, because I think
No. We not, girl. Tap out for me, please. I'm gonna need you to sit somewhere. Well, you're already sitting, but get out of the debate. No. You can't do it. You just said the crystals cannot be demonic because God made the crystals. And that don't make no sense because God made demons. So the fact that God made demons means he can in fact make demons. Right? When them angels decided to rebel and they were kicked out of heaven, God created demons. And you cannot say, well, actually, God didn't create demons. They just had free will. And when they decided to rebel, they became demons. Okay, so God's creation can become demonic. So crystals can be demonic. I don't actually know if crystals are demonic. I'm just saying. I ain't gonna worship no crystals, but I just don't like this argumentation because she can't actually fully push it through.
it's very big of you in a way to assume that you can determine whose heart is demonic when you are not God.
Well, I would. Well, actually, I think that we agree that it's not the crystal. That
right. It has to be the person's intention. Yeah.
Yes. And I think that's kind of where what we're trying to say is like the intention can be a dangerous game to play with.
And I don't
be anything.
That it's spiritually unsafe.
Yeah.
I think
saying spiritually unsafe as a whole is kind of big. I think it can always be spiritually unsafe if somebody that is unsafe is using crystals in an unsafe
way.
Well,
we're associating it with spiritual unsafety. Me specifically, because of the pantheon of gods that are associated with different crystals, you don't necessarily know what you're going to get.
It can be spiritually unsafe for you to be Christians and act in certain ways too. So yeah, every kind of order, everything can be unsafe depending on the user. Yeah. I think a lot of these pastors are unsafe, both physically and spiritually. And they use Christianity to get there, to get authority. So here we are again.
But your God is associated in the pantheon.
Whereas we would consider the Christian perspective to always be safe because we believe Jesus to be fully kind.
Yeah, but that's not true. Even Jesus went into that church and tore that church up because them so-called people worshiping in the temple was not doing it properly. They were acting in a way, they were selling, they were talking down to people. Like, we're not about to sit up here and say it is always safe when you choose Christ. No, it's a continuous battle. literally the whole point of continuing to choose Christ and be with Christ and make sure he's in your heart even after your baptism is because it is never, ever safe. Like general, like on earth. That's the whole point. The fact that you can say these Christian people were out here abusing people, engaging in terrible behavior. Even David, a man of God's own heart, was out here being degenerate. King Solomon was out here being degenerate. Mind you, maybe they don't actually believe in the keys of Solomon, so I can't even bring up things that they believe. Anyway. No, because Solomon learned how to control demons. We just got ignore that Solomon was out here controlling demons.
And fully benevolent, whereas some of these other gods are not.
But there are gods that are fully kind and fully benevolent. So because we do not know them, because y'all are not seeking them out to know them.
Also, to say God is fully kind and fully benevolent when literally the Bible say like, yes, the love of God, at least biblically, is beyond our comprehension. And so to that extent, we don't know how to define it, right? But from our human perspective, without knowing that which God knows, without understanding the love of God, right? Without that, with our very limited human mind, we see God wiping out the entire population. We hear the Bible describe God as jealous. Right? We see Sodom and Gomorrah getting burned, right? And you can call it justice. You can call it whatever you want to call it. There is no way to define that as love. Woman turned to salt because she looked back. She looked back and it's a child. Mind you, this is a good enough woman to be saved, and she could not take one order, which is not to look back. And in looking back, she was turned to a pillar of salt. I'm not saying this is right or wrong. I'm saying that love, as I understand it, or maybe you need to define for me what love is and how it operates so that we can engage in meaningful discourse about love before we get to that God is all love. Right? Because if you're going to drag me from my religion, right? Say I'm not Christian, and you're going to engage in this argument that, oh, well, your religion can be corrupt because it's harmful and it can lead to negativity and it opens you up for demonic possession and causes all kinds of problems, right? You're not going to explain to me how yours is all love when people dropping like flies. When under your rule, Black folks were enslaved. Under your rule, Black people were not even considered human. While they were actively being taught scriptures during slavery. And I'm not saying you don't have an explanation. I'm going to need you to provide that explanation. No, I mean, quickly. Quickly, girl. We ain't got all the time in the world. You're going to need to provide that immediately. Because I'm not about to sit here and have you play in my face. You cannot condemn someone for something that is running rampant in your religion, girl. I would not allow that. No. This is why, as a Christian, I don't go out here debating this, because we don't got the answers. And the moment you tell me, oh, well, just go pray about it, you've lost me. Because what do you think I've been doing for 30 years? More like 25, but who's counting?
In the same way that you would know God, because that is not me trying to get you to convert. I'm just saying you don't go seeking out other faiths and other beliefs to see, hey, could I get with this? Because that would be considered blasphemous within Christianity.
I was going to say, and I don't agree that it's somebody's intention that makes the practice demonic. There's a reason why they say the road to hell is paved with people who had good intentions. And a lot of the people who become possessed by demons didn't go into it saying, yes, I want to be possessed by a demon by trying to gather a spirit from this crystal. So that's why I believe it's a dangerous practice. And honestly, obviously, you know, I believe nobody should be doing it. So.
Okay, yeah, for sure.
I mean, that's cute. Does everyone in New Age become demonically possessed? No? All right. So some people in New Age act poorly. Can we say that that's the same thing for Christians or not? Can we say that's the same thing for Christians or not?
I don't think most people realize how much time they spend in a state of go. It's about supporting my nervous system.
Burning sage invites peace and drives away evil spirits.
Burning sage invites peace and drives away evil spirits. Yeah, her prompts are trash. Ain't no way for you to prove that. Ain't no way for you to prove that. I do not care what you say, you can't prove it. If I were the Christians, this I would drag her for. I would immediately go up there and start dragging. I would tell her she a liar and she don't know what she's doing. I'm a dragger. The Christians can win on this. How you gonna prove that? Why would you make that a prompt when you can't prove it? Because they're not making. Here's the thing about the Christians that is so annoying. They're gonna go up there and start making positive claims. Like, you literally have every power. You have the power to come up with any prompt you want. And the prompt you decided to come up with for y'all to debate is that sage is good for you and removes spirits. If I am look, I don't got to make a claim. I'm going to just go up there and drag you for yours. I'm going to go up there and try to have you prove your claim. How you know that? Immediately. As soon as I sit down as a Christian, I'm going to be like, how you know that? And she goes start talking about nothing. And I'm going to drag her for everything she said. Like, what do you mean? You can't prove it. And if you think you can prove it in the chat, drop a 1 and I'll add you. Because I already know these people not doing nothing.
Hi, I'm Danielle.
Hi, Danielle.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I'm Alexi.
Hi, Alexi.
Hi, I'm Audrey. Nice to meet you.
Hi, Audrey.
I'm Elle. I'm happy to see you.
Happy to see you. Okay, the question or the prompt is, burning sage invites peace and drives away evil spirits. I do believe burning certain herbs, whether it be rosemary, cedarwood, juniper, lavender, those can have properties, just like burning resins, myrrh, or something to that effect.
Yeah, if I could.
Yeah, that's cute. You said sage. You said sage specifically. So I'm gonna need you to prove this. I'm gonna need you to prove this. And these Christians already look a mess to me now because they're looking off on each other like they're about to make some claims. And this is so dumb. Because why would you go up there, sit up there and make a claim that you don't have to make? You literally can just drag. You don't have to make a claim. You do not have to make a claim, Christians. I believe in you.
Well, just for the sake of the people that are watching with the prompt, sage invites peace, right? And the second part was that it drives away evil spirits.
Yes.
I would say first with the peace part of it, we see in scripture, Romans 1:25, where it says they've traded the truth of God for a lie and they worship the creation instead of the creator. So when I think about peace, right, I'll also go back to scripture and say Isaiah 26:3, where it says that he gives perfect peace whose minds are stayed on him. Mm-hmm. So I get a little confused there when we talk about it gives peace because sage gives peace because they sell it by the bulk.
Okay, you are so annoying. You just gonna sit up there, quote the Bible, and then make a positive claim that you now can't back up. You just gonna sit up. Oh my God. These people are like, I actually think, like, I feel I just like, nah, because I don't think I'm that smart. Like, I know I'm smart. But why would you do that? Oh my God. I'm looking up the average IQ. I'm not going to say it on here, but I'm looking up the average IQ just because. You want to know something? I forgot about aromatherapy. I don't know why. I just forgot about aromatherapy. So actually, from like a scientific perspective, you can actually prove that sage is calming. Now, you're going to have to define peace. You have to define peace. But at least the peace part, if you define it in such a way where aromatherapy would apply, there is an argument you can make that burning sage specifically can like reduce stress. You know what I mean? Like we can engage that. It is the driving away evil spirit. It is the driving away. It is it is it is the drive. It's the driving away of evil spirits, and maybe you can find, but you ain't got to do none of that. You ain't got to do none of that because one thing that the Christians gonna do. One thing the Christians gonna do instead of arguing and actually making a good point and dragging you, they're gonna quote that Bible, therefore making positive claims, and then you can drag them. And then you can drag them. Quoting the Bible, I don't believe in. So why? Like, what am I gonna do with the quote you just gave?
Which means that if you want peace, you have to continue to go and buy and get it more and more. And I can see where it can bring relaxation, but not necessarily peace. And the perfect peace that
she dumb. Why would you then say, I can see how it brings relaxation, but not the perfect peace that you come from God? Mind you, you're always fighting. When you're Christian, there is always temptation. Actually, when you become Christian, that is when the most temptation find you, right? At least this is what the pastors talk about and how you were tempted. Look at Job, girl. Job went through it. Yo, Job, yeah, here's the thing. I ain't gonna go there. I'm not gonna go there. But here's where we are. The all-knowing. I'm gonna leave that alone. I'm just gonna leave the story of Job. The story of Job is only to be understood in the way that you get from the story that faith leads to success. I'm just saying that you need to go. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time for that. Like, what do you mean perfect? Here we go. Let's do it.
God gives us that transcends all understanding. So I wouldn't agree that sage, a plant, can bring peace. I think it can bring relaxation, much like a candle, but not necessarily peace. And then when we get to the place.
Okay. That's not an argument, ma'am. That is not an argument. I don't think that it can bring the perfect peace that God brings that is beyond our understanding. So if the peace you get from God is beyond your understanding, that means you don't understand it. Therefore, how do you know it's peace? How do you know what you feel is peace if you don't understand it? You don't even know what you're getting, right? When you are a Christian, are you saying you are continuously at peace? Is that what you're telling me? That the man cheating on his wife, who is a Christian, and David did it too, Solomon was led astray by a woman, so yes, you can be Christian and go cheat, apparently. So you go out there, go zip it and zo it. You are telling me you are at perfect peace when you're doing that. You are telling me the kids at home finding out that their daddy is philandering is having perfect peace. And you're telling me the wife of the philandering man is at perfect peace because they're with God, because they are graced to have their man go out there and cheat. And that's just one example. You're telling me that the slaves were in perfect peace because they were baptized and they were Christians, but they were slaves. They had perfect peace. Are you dumb? Ain't no perfect nothing for humans. Let me actually look something up because I know you're lying. I don't even have to look this up. I know you're lying. The Bible does not say that you have perfect peace with God when you're on earth, in the sense of being free from the conflicts and trouble. Instead, it teaches that perfect peace is a divine gift for those who trust God, and that peace with God is a spiritual reconciliation achieved through faith in God, which you have to continue. Girl, ain't nobody got time for you. It is about not being under God's wrath. Romans chapter 5 verse 1. Okay. You keep in perfect peace those whose minds are steadfast because they trust in you. So as soon as you waver, you no longer have it, period.
Where we say that it drives out evil spirits. This is probably the part that kind of gets me the most.
This, by the way, is why religious psychosis is such a problem, because I do believe people internalize this and they believe that they have to pretend to be happy, they have to pretend to be good, they have to pretend to have quote unquote perfect peace when they're going through it. Instead of expressing their anger, instead of expressing their fears, instead of crying and letting it out, releasing whatever emotional pent-up foolishness they have, there is this performance of I am okay, and that is a problem. Yeah, ain't nothing to compare to or measure it.
That sage is not a weapon that demons bow to. Demons bow to authority. Mm-hmm. So that's why we see in Luke 10 and 19, he says, my authority I give you to tread on serpents and scorpions. So I think in this new age, but I know you said you weren't new age. I think it's more so not only a source issue where it's like what source, but a faith issue, because the word of God says that faith comes by hearing. And I think a lot of people with new age or spirituality depend a lot on what they see instead of what they hear, right? Hearing the word of God, right? So they use things.
You know she ain't say nothing, right? Y'all know she ain't say nothing. This, by the way, is why I stopped going to my old church, because my pastor will go up there and start talking, and I take notes. When I go to church, I take notes, and I'm sitting there writing what they're saying, and I'm like, this makes no sense. I go to them after and say, hey, you said this. What does it actually mean? And you sitting up there getting frustrated with me like I put them words in your mouth and you didn't just tell me them, and I don't know what you said, so I come to you to ask you what you said, and you're sitting up there like you dumb. Like I'm trying to trick you. I'm not trying to trick you. I'm literally doing what we should do. I'm taking notes about what you said, and all you do is talk. They're talking. You prefer what you hear, and they're trying to do what they see instead of what they. Shut up. Like that don't make no sense. I'm so annoyed. I completely forgot what I was looking up now. Like I'm so pissed. Like I am annoyed because they do this very preachy thing where it's almost like Hotep, because things rhyme or sounds good. It doesn't actually have to make sense because they're going for a feeling, right? They're attempting to evoke rather a feeling in you, and they're not actually explaining anything.
That they can see, like sage, crystals, tarot cards. And I believe even with that, it's like we want the spirituality, but we don't want the accountability, right? That comes with it. So, and I'll make my last point. So we talked about power even before. I heard you mention power a few times. And what I think, again, with New Age and spirituality is that, yes, we know that there can be power there, but we are talking about authority, right? And there's a difference between power and authority. Much like I used to be a police officer, and if a semi truck was coming down the street, all I had to do was raise my hand. And what would the semi truck do? It would stop because power has to always bow to authority. So my question would be, why would
wait what that it don't have to? They can hit you. how much weight do Christians give the sort of the non-canonical books for the Bible? Because I don't know how much I can talk about Solomon's adventures without being ostracized for it not being canonical. I probably will just leave it alone. But just know that the Solomon story are some of my favorites. But they're not, again, canonical texts. So I probably should just let it go. I should just let it go. But just know that Solomon was out here doing things, getting tricked, tricking demons, losing his ring, having to fight demons without God. Yeah. Ah. Tricking demons into cutting stones and building castles, girl. Solomon was that guy. Don't play with him. And then, obviously, the women's led him astray to worship other gods, but that's neither here nor there. It's giving back.
You or anyone who practices New Age or spirituality choose a lesser power when you have the opportunity to have authority.
Ooh, glad you asked me that. So let's talk about lesser power. I think when you guys say...
Yeah, let's not talk about greater and lesser powers. Let's go back to burning sage being something that brings peace and drives out evil spirits. This is probably why I cannot moderate these people. And two, why I think actual debates do not go viral, because I think people just want to sit and listen to people talk and agree and disagree and fight. Because ain't no reason for y'all to be debating and just going this far off topic. Ain't no reason for this. Ain't no reason for us to be talking about greater and lesser power when I'm trying to tell you that sage brings peace and drives away demons. I'm gonna need you, ma'am, Miss Mams. Let me put her on. Miss Mams, I'm gonna need you to prove what you said. I'm gonna need you to prove what you said, because ain't no way you're gonna sidestep your position. You made a claim, and I'm gonna need you to prove it.
New Age, the words mean things. So new, meaning relatively just showed up on the scene. But Christianity is also new. The Bible in which you are speaking of was written when? 1,500 years ago, until I believe 95 AD. John of Patmos was the last one who wrote Revelations. So if we have this book that was written by over 40 plus authors, but over the span of almost 1,500 years, but humans ourselves have been around almost in this current version of our bodies, 50,000 years, we are missing a lot of time there. So when we say why would I settle for a lesser power? I think if you use aromatherapy and you end up relaxed, you're experiencing peace. Perfect peace will be something that is debatable because you are a Christian and I am not. So perfect peace, has anybody ever pissed y'all off? Do y'all still get pissed off sometimes? That don't feel like perfect peace to me if somebody has the ability to piss you off every now and then. But that's okay because that's part of life. So when I think about bowing or using a lesser, I am not giving sage, just like I am not giving crystals the whole, oh, the power is in the sage. No, actually, what does this say?
The power is in you. Captain Planet, he's a hero. Gonna take pollution down to zero. Bad guys I like to. My food is almost here. The power is in you.
Drives away evil spirits. White sage is used to invoke spirits. Now, y'all are going to call them demons because they're not of God. But depending on what the spirit is, it may not be malevolent to me. So I may not call it a demon. I may just reference it as a spirit. But then there are demons within spirituality that we do recognize. And do they care about sage? I almost cussed. No, they don't care about sage. But I'm not using sage to drive them away. I'm not using any herbs to drive them away. We do something totally different for something like that. So when we talk about bowing, I think there's also this conception that I am not utilizing a power bigger than myself. I don't do anything solely or alone or just off my own strength. Every now and then maybe, but normally I am calling something through. I have ancestors, and I have ancestors that did big stuff big things. And so I will call them through. I may call through.
Have your ancestors ever died and came back? Because I remember you had mentioned earlier today.
Did you see Jesus die and come back?
Oh, period. Eat her up. Eat her all the way up. Period.
I didn't see Jesus die and come back, but we see, but we do see in scripture where he did die and he came back.
Your points
and we have eyewitnesses.
I just want to make sure we have time so I can get to everybody else.
Sure, no
I
problem.
really just want to finish answering your question.
Sure.
I don't want to be fair.
Sure.
But have any of my ancestors died and come back? One, brought back on a more table, because that happens. People do die and then get revived. Just to answer your question as you asked it, yes, one of my ancestors has died and come back. But do I think they are Jesus? No. Do I think that they can save me from all? No, because my ancestors were humans. They were people. They had their own problems.
Oh, no, she ate her up. No. She definitely ate her up. Did you see Jesus die and come back? Because, like, you have a standard of proof for her, right? This very high standard of proof for her, where you don't even have it for yourself. You can't even meet the standard of proof that you require from her. That is absolutely delusional and insane. That is absolute. Like, how are you going to sit up there and give to me this heightened scrutiny while you don't have it? Please. Please.
Problems, but they had their own strengths. The same way you trust grandma to pray for you, I trust my ancestors in the ancestral realm to do what they can for me over there. What's your standpoint, though?
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, what you were talking about your ancestors, I'm guessing they appear to you and help you with things because you're talking about in
I
the
won't say they
spiritual
appear
realm.
to me, but yes.
In the spiritual realm. So what's that look like for you?
It's an experience. So my mom died when
What does God talking to you look like to you? Because I've been one. Every time I've been want to talk. Because these people be going through all kind of psychosis talking about they hear the voice of God. Mind you, this woman go sit up there talking about, oh my God, God showed me my husband and that he was going to be my husband. He cheated on her, abused her, left her. And she was like, oh, maybe it wasn't God. Well, now we have a problem, because if you didn't know it wasn't God before, how you going to know it's God the next time? How you know when it's God or if it's even God?
I was 6, I cannot hear my mom's voice because I have not seen videos of my mom since I was maybe 7 or 8. So I don't know what her voice sounds like anymore. So when my mom shows up, it is an overwhelming sense of safety. I immediately burst into tears, and it just feels like because I remember what being around my mom was like. They say I was a daddy's girl, but I know I was always with my mama, and I got lots of photos with my mom. So that's how I experience her versus my Aunt Annette. My Aunt Annette don't take shit. So when she comes through, I feel her kind of settle down. Like sometimes, because I'm a channeler, so I don't always have to see things. Apparitions, I'm not going to hold y'all, would scare me. So I don't see apparitions. All of our gifts are not the same in spirituality. So I can hear my Aunt Annette, and she normally I'll hear her ring start to like jostle, or her bangles start to jostle against themselves. And that's how I know she's present. So they make themselves known in different ways. There's something called clairgustance and clairfactance where you can taste or smell certain things. So I may smell my Uncle Stanley before I recognize, oh, he is present here. I might smell what smells like Bud Light, and I don't drink Bud Light. And why is this smell just wafting into my nose? So that's how they show up to me, to answer your question.
Yeah, I love that. When they show up to you, what are they usually doing? What are you channeling?
It depends on what I'm doing, because they don't just show up.
Mm-hmm.
Ancestors have to be invoked. They are not omnipresent, omniscient, and things of that nature. So you have to call on them. And sometimes you need a way in which to connect with them. So that's why people set up altars, so they have something to focus on. They may have a brush from their grandmother. They may have a perfume. They may have their picture. So they have.
This white lady look like she looking for information to go try. She look like she trying to try this, because like the way she asking these questions, ain't know where she going with it. I don't know where she going. She don't know where she going. So she must be trying to get information.
Have to be invoked.
Yeah. So I don't know if you've ever heard about so we know you work with
Sure.
spirits, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so kind of going back to the sage thing, sage, people do it, whether new age, witchcraft, occultism, that whole thing, whether it's sage, whether it's crystals, it's a counterfeit of a peace that we have in Jesus. Because a lot of people that are in the occult, right, they seek peace, protection, or direction. And I bet even people that come to you are seeking one of those three things.
Yeah, and people who go to Christianity seek the same thing. Bring me your tired and weary, or whatever they said. Like, yeah, everyone looking for something, girl. Everyone is empty. Everyone feels unfulfilled. And most people look for it in a man, a hit dog and all. And some people go to Christianity and spirituality to go feel like they have some control. What's your point? What's your point?
personally believe that in Jesus, he gives that peace, that he gives that direction, that he gives that.
Y'all don't look like y'all are at peace. Them tattoo, y'all don't look like y'all are at peace. And stop saying perfect peace, because y'all out here cussing people out, fighting people, like cheating, sleeping. Like, let's not do this. Unless you're going to define perfect peace, I don't want to hear it again. I do not want to hear it again. Because it's even beyond y'all's comprehension.
Sense of safety. And I feel like I just even want to encourage you that you do have a gift. You have a very strong gift on your life to see and to hear and to experience, to be sensitive to the spiritual realm. But I do believe that the devil comes to steal, kill, and destroy, and that he's coming to veer you off or deceive you and use you in certain ways. In reality, when God wants to use you in a powerful way. And
agree with that, actually. Can I ask something? Because I don't ask many questions. I normally ask the question, how many people has the devil killed in the Bible historically?
Oh, I don't know the number. Do you know the number?
3.
I don't know the number.
3. And all by, if you look it up, the devil has killed 3 based off God's instructions. Do you know how many God has killed in the Bible? We don't have to talk about like outside of that, because then
they move. Girl, I wish y'all could see them. They're fidgeting, they're moving. Girl, they're mad. They're mad. Here's their answer. Because God did it, it's fine. That's their only answer. Ain't no other answer they got. Watch.
we know the numbers will then be altered. But just based off historical record, and we're going to say historical record is the Bible for y'all, how many people has God killed? Do you know?
Powerful way.
All right, I'm going to show it, but we don't know if they're going to copyright me for the showing this part. But I'm going to need y'all. They even switch foot, girl. They said, hop up on your good foot. This one right here. She going to switch. The fact that they probably think she's wrong to think this way and don't see how they seem wrong to non-Christian is something. Yeah, because they do. Christians are easy generally to debate because they do not actually attempt to falsify their own beliefs. They do not attempt to debate themselves or engage with themselves. They assume they are right. When you assume you're right and you don't investigate your own thoughts, you're very easy to debate because you never engage with the counterpoints, ever. That's why Christians are easy to debate. Who are not apologetics, obviously, are in the school of apologetics. But yeah.
And agree with that, actually. Can I ask something? Because I don't ask many questions. I normally ask the question, how many people has the devil killed? In the Bible, historically?
Oh, I don't know the number. Do you know the number?
3.
I don't know the number.
3. And all by, if you look it up, the devil has killed 3 based off God's instructions. Do you know how many God has killed in the Bible? We don't have to talk about like outside.
Girl, I know this move. I know that move. When I'm getting annoyed, I stop doing it now because I learned it was a tick. When I'm mad, but I cannot express my anger outwardly and I'm trying to like withhold it, it moves through my body. So I start moving. I start pulling like or like shaking my legs or something. You know what I mean? Like you have to get it out some way. Especially when you're not trying to be angry in the way that you talk.
Side of that, because then we know the numbers will then be altered. But just based off historical record, and we're going to say historical record is the Bible for y'all, how many people has God killed? We could start with Lot and everybody that got smoked there. We could start with Job's first family and then go from there. But see, he instructs Satan to do certain things. Nothing can happen without God's permission. All of us are sitting here, if you will, if I'm thinking from the Christian standpoint, because God gave us permission to sit here. God put us here, right? So if God...
Oh, well, you can't see me, so it wouldn't be my skin, and I wouldn't have a body, so it wouldn't be my skin. Ooh. That's not good. Maybe me singing country music. Girl, when I you just go here. She was driving Lee Swatty on the way to Cincinnati. Or Chanel number 5. You'll smell. You'll smell it. Whenever I hear it smell, like my mom's cologne is so very specific. I won't say what it is, but like every time I smell it, I know it. I like it is so distinct, and I don't care how faint it is, I can always smell it.
God has this ability to know all, before he laid the foundation of the world and before he created the heavens, he knew. So one of the things that I like to ask Christians is, how did God not know that Satan would rebel against him and take a third of the angels? Because God had to create Satan, and he created Satan knowing the very outcome of who would end up in heaven at the very end. So it's kind of like God doesn't take accountability himself, but I know we have to go.
That's not your argument. The argument you're making is that there is no free will. That's the argument. The argument of free will biblically is this: you ain't got no free will. Biblically, you do not have free will. I define free will, and you can go define it some other way, as the ability, given the opportunity, to make a different choice than you did. Right? So if you were wearing a red shirt today, if you could go back in time, you could easily, just as easily, pick the blue shirt. Biblically, you cannot do that, right? Because God is all-knowing, and he knew what you were going to do and everything that you've done before he created you. And then he created you. Your story has been written. God knows your story, and then God made you. You don't actually have free will from that perspective. Now, there might be a different way that you define free will, but if you accept my definition of free will as the ability, if possible, to make a different decision than the one you made, then you don't have free will. But because you don't have knowledge that your story is written, or you don't have knowledge of your story, it feels like free will. So at least that's the argument, my argument there around free will.
To the next.
There's so much.
I know.
My mind is like, where do I even start? So first thing with the ancestors.
Sure.
So we know as Christians that ancestors, the dead are dead. So what we believe to be true is that your ancestors or ancestors who come to you really are just familiar spirits who masquerade as ancestors, who perhaps have known things about your ancestors.
Spirits.
So it's, familiar spirits who masquerade, because the Bible says that the devil masquerades as an angel of light. So he could masquerade as an ancestor, as an angel, whatever light being you would be attracted to. Now, when it comes to sage, which is prompt, right? You mentioned that this is a practice that originates in, again, Native American spirituality. And biblically, we believe as Christians, right? Native Americans have practice what we would call pagan worship. They have sort of a pantheon of deifying sort of the sun, the moon, Mother Earth, the stars, which we as Christians believe to be pagan worship. The Bible tells us, instructs us in Deuteronomy 4:19 not to worship the created thing. That's also referenced in Romans chapter 1. So we are not to worship the created thing.
Yes,
Moreover, another thing that is actually mentioned in scripture.
From my perspective, it would be an illusion of choice.
That a lot of people who engage in these practices don't understand, according to 1 Corinthians 10, chapter 20, is that when you are practicing idolatry or pagan worship, the thing behind that really is demonic. So I think it says that people who burn sacrifices to pagan gods are actually, in fact, burning sacrifices to demons. So knowing that these practices are rooted in pagan worship and idolatry, and that ultimately behind them rests a demonic presence that people may or may not be aware of. They're not aware sometimes that that's what they're doing. I actually used to practice New Age. So when I did, I wasn't aware, of course, that I was invoking demons into my life. Came to find out later, unfortunately. But so people who ultimately do this.
I'm sorry, hold on. When we talk about burning.
No, don't interrupt her. Do not interrupt her. Let this girl finish. Because one thing for certain, two things for sure. The way she started off was very good. She said, as a Christian, from a Christian perspective, what we believe is. And she can just talk, and when she's done, you can be like, okay, cool, that's your belief, and this is mine. Because this is not an argument. This is not an argument. Hello. I do not like this chick, not the white people with the half up, half down pony. She gave me chills in the worst way. Jasmine's composure is amazing. She is composed. She's very humble. Actually, she gives off the aura that I think I would expect from the Christians. This one. So that's weird. But she's just as bad as them at debating. Like, she's slightly better than them in terms of debating. Just slightly. Like, she's winning the debate, but like, I mean, winning against them is like, oh, okay, cool. So you showed up. Thank you, by the way, for being a member for 7 months.
Sage, because you said burning it, using it as it's idolized, idolatry. We don't idolize sage. I just want to start there. But outside of that, when you say
that is not what idolatry means, but go off, sis.
Burning it in a pagan way, like to a god. I hope y'all understand, all of us don't have a god like y'all do, that we put something, but it does, based off what you just said. You said we burn it to a god. So I'm answering it the way that you stated it. So I think it does matter based off the context that you gave. Now, if that's not what you meant, I would allow you to clarify that, but I do want to hear from my sister on the end.
Hey, so just, I'll make it quick. And so my question is like, what is the power that you think is bringing this peace and warding off the evil spirit?
Oh, I think it's really aromatherapy. Shit smells good. We like lavender. It makes you feel more calm. That's something that they know scientifically because it's used in a multitude of products, just like magnesium. When you go to the beach,
okay, period. There you go. Eat them up.
You get wore out after a day of just standing in the water. Even it's because of magnesium. So I think
So I don't think it wards off evil spirits.
No, it does not. It does not ward off evil spirits. They will still change.
Wait, it does not ward off evil spirit, but your prompt says burning sage invites peace and drives away evil spirit. So you're conceding that half that is not good. Well, she said lavender specifically. So yeah.
But I'm just saying for the sake of, the herbs, yes.
So you wouldn't recommend that? I have a few more things that I want to say, if you don't mind. So you are saying, so it's not a power thing. It's just like an aromatherapy.
I think it's always intention going back to that. What y'all decide to be power is always going to be determined through God.
Okay.
But what we consider to be power is what you have the capability. It's called practical magic. Whatever you can do on your own. If your house is cluttered, it's probably going to make your brain feel a little cluttered. So if you clean things up, we believe that has the power to help you start thinking in a more clear way. Just because you're no longer sitting in mess. I think that's just really simple. So that's what
I don't like this. New Agers, y'all come to the front. If you believe something, believe it fully and engage in your belief. Do not lie. I don't like this kind of deception. This kind of deception pissed me off. Because what you're doing, what she's doing here, and I get it for the context of this debate, and the Christians aren't giving anything, so they have to come to the front too. But what she does and what these debates do is, instead of being honest about the powers you're claiming, you're hiding behind practical application of like psychology, right? Where if you clean a house, yeah, you feel better, right? Love that. Can you command demons? To be fair to Jasmine, I'm gonna take 2 steps back. These Christians are so caught up on making accusations that they're not actually asking questions. And they're not actually investigating, and they care nothing about investigating and challenging her actual beliefs and worldview. They don't care. They just want to preach at her. Because you gonna have to prove how sage drives out evil spirit. And the fact that none of these Christians came up there and addressed the prompt actually is insane to me. Yeah, it is actually insane that all of them can sit up there and talk about God and don't follow this and this is demonic without asking her at all to prove how sage drive out the demonic spirits.
when we say power.
So there's a break in reason there, because I think earlier on the first prompt you said that God is all and he is in all, or they are in all, or whatever the case.
No, just y'all thought. I was only referencing y'all.
But you said God is the universe, so that God is everything and everything is God, essentially. Okay, so that goes against the law of non-contradiction, okay, which is one of the foundational laws of logic. So quite literally
I had to grab Delroy. Say hi, Delroy. Hi, Delroy. I need to. So now we're actually engaging in logic. Christians, y'all play entirely too much. Y'all play entirely too much. And I refuse to have my face be played in. I refuse. This might be the last segment for me, because ain't no reason for you to sit up here and talk about this cuts against the law of non-contradiction. Have you read that Bible? God is the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. And you have time up here to talk about non-contradiction. God was a man fully while still being God fully, being killed by humans. And you up here talking about some non-contradiction? You really sitting here talking about the law of non-contradiction? Here's this weird logic game that we used to do. We used to try to come up with things that the human mind could conceptualize to understand this specific law of non-contradiction. If God is all powerful, right? Can God create a stone that he cannot move? If the answer is yes, then that does not seem like he's all powerful, right? If he cannot move it. But if he cannot create it, it also seems that he's not all powerful. Obviously, this is just like a kid's game, like when we just make up random things that would be contradictory and therefore violate the law of non-contradiction. The fact that you're sitting up here as a Christian doing this when we used to have these games as children is absolutely insane to me. That is absolutely insane to me. And no reason, like I am just like the whole premise is that we lead by faith. It is faith that we rely on. And you gonna sit up here talking about some law of non-contradiction, please.
The claim is illogical. God can't be the thing.
The claim is illogical.
That's bringing you peace, which is whatever items or ritual you are using to bring peace and ward off evil spirits, and also be the evil spirits. That's contradictory because according to God as being all and in all, God is also in that evil spirit. And so that's different than duality. That's actual opposition. And that's just, it's not how it works.
Saying.
Yeah.
I think there's a break in reason and believing that God created all things, but thinking that God did not create evil, because the first sin was committed where? Normally they say in the garden, but I would argue that it was probably in heaven when Satan rebelled against God. Would it not be that? But if that's the case, God created Satan knowing he was going to rebel, and he gave him the capability, even though the gift of free will is supposed to be ours.
So you brought that up before, and I appreciate that, but that's not the prompt. The prompt, and what
I
I'm
know,
saying,
but I'm just responding because we keep getting off the prompt.
Well, I'm actually on the prompt. So the claim is that you can do something that is going to bring peace as well as ward off evil. And what I'm saying is, according to the law, and I'm not talking about sage specifically, because I'm not talking about that specifically. But you said that you do have something that you use, or what you have I don't know,
maybe not herbs to ward off evil,
but you said aromatherapy, lavender, right? So lavender can't be God, and also warding off the evil spirit that also has God, because according to you, God is in all and is all. So
yeah, but it's not because God is in everything doesn't mean everything is God in its totality. You know what I mean? Like you can be a part. If I take a cup to the ocean and I scoop up some of the water from the ocean, right? Yes, that water was a part of the ocean, but I didn't scoop up the ocean, right? Like I just scoop up a part of the ocean. Yes, it is a part of, it's not the whole thing, right? So like the magnitude of the ocean cannot, the vastness of the ocean cannot fit in one vessel, i.e. the glass that I used to scoop up the ocean. Actually, I am not going to do this work. Let's hear the new Ager do her own work, because ain't nobody got time. Let's hear the new Ager do her own work.
That God can't both bring you peace and also be in the thing that you need peace from. It's illogical. And I just want to say, and I'll end
the Christian God or my God?
The God of the universe, right? Because lavender is the universe and the evil spirits are part of the universe, and God is in all. And so I'll just say this here.
Yes, different parts of God shows up differently. Like, what do you mean? Like, if God is the universe, there's so many different parts of the... We're not doing this. I'm not doing this with you. Because we're not. I'm not doing it. I'm really not doing it with you.
Because you're not making a scientific claim. I think you're making a spiritual claim, which is fine, right? We're Christians. So,
right,
you know what I'm saying?
I was going to say, okay.
No shade. Like, that's fine. I love that. So I just think that when you hold up the claim, your claim, which is that you're having to do something that, or hold on to something material to invoke peace and spiritual safety, when you hold that up to Jesus Christ, who came for you and to you and gave himself for you, his scripture says that he himself has become our peace. And it also says in Romans 8 that the same spirit that rose Jesus from the dead dwells inside of us. And so he has given us his peace and his power. And I don't have to attach myself to anything because it is that I can wake up and know that I have that. And so I just think if you take away the spirit, because we're making spiritual claims, right? There's no evidence for the calibrating piece, right? But logistically and logically, I think Jesus Christ is better. It makes sense.
That's fine.
Wait, how would you know that? How would you know that logically Jesus Christ is better? Better than what exactly? And how do you get to that conclusion logically? That does not make sense. And why you say that's fine? New age or woman person, why would you say that's fine when you didn't even engage?
But I do think the same way that you pray to ward off evil and things coming up again.
I don't think about it honestly.
You don't pray away evil.
We don't ward off in the name of.
But I mean, but you don't pray away. You don't pray for protection, because praying for protection
From a
praying
car accident, I don't pray. I'm not walking into nowhere thinking that there's no evil. No.
Okay, so maybe not.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Specifically you. But Christians do this. Jehovah is known. Jehovah Jireh, Jehovah Nishi. I forgot the other one. There are different names by which you call on the Lord for different kinds of protection, right? Or engagement. You're not about to sit up here as a Christian and pretend you don't know that. Provider, protector, the one who watches over me. We're not about to go back and forth and pretend like you don't do this as a Christian. On top of being completely ridiculous, you're also a liar. On top of being absolutely ridiculous, you're also a liar. If you have children, the idea that I have a praying grandmother does not come from nowhere. That there is a culture of people in the Christian church that is very well known, particularly in the Black community, that engage in prayer for protection, not even just over themselves, but over their family. We're not about to do this. You're lying. You're a liar. I don't even think it's ignorant. I think it's a straight up lie. You're lying. And we're not even going to get to the Catholic Church and demon possession and removing demons. Like, we're not about to do this whole foolishness where we are going back and forth about whether or not the Bible allows for the using of prayers to have power. Where my prayer warriors at? We're not doing this. Ma'am, we're not doing it. We're talking about I don't need to do that. Yes, you do. And do.
But in general, when Christians pray, sometimes they pray to protect themselves against people that they may try to cause, I'm just making a point, may try to cause them harm.
She lying. The literal book says, we do not fight against flesh and blood, but against principality. How you gonna fight spiritually when you don't pray or engage in the spirit? Like, the premise of the battle that you fight as a Christian has everything to do with you being spiritual. You praying, you asking God for power over these things. You saying God gives you power over these things. That the death of Christ allows you that kind of power. You don't have to just go to the priest or whatever to the sorry. I dislike when people engage in bad faith and just straight up lie. And this woman is absolutely lying. She's lying. And she's lying at a point where she does not have to lie. Because this does not actually take away from her point as a Christian. Like, yes, we pray for protection from God. The most honest person sitting up there is the New Ager. That's a problem. That is a problem. Are y'all sitting up in front of this woman lying about you, about your religion, about what you pray for? Y'all praying for husbands out here. Y'all literally, instead of asking God to show you where you should go and maybe you should be alone, y'all out here praying to get a husband, and specifically for a specific man. Because y'all now are trying to move the will of God. Y'all fasting and praying to keep your cheating man at home. Y'all are literally talking about being graced by God to fast and pray for your cheating man, your philandering man, to stay home and not cheat. And y'all lying, talking about you don't use fire for that.
But God put that person on this earth. So it's kind of, in my opinion, doesn't have to be something you agree with. The same way I may burn lavender, even though I do not, I use just lavender for the sake of aromatherapy to help me relax. I may not be using it to ward away evil, but I am using it to help me regulate myself. The same way you pray, I consider that a way to regulate yourself, but maybe within the spirit. And so I think those are the same thing. We're just saying it's illogical because it's not our belief.
One thing I've learned is that just because advice is popular does not mean it's meant for you.
The universe is God.
Well, she said the universe is God.
My name is Shanasa.
I'm Leanna. My name is Ty. Lexine.
All right, so the universe is God. I chose this because I think oftentimes there is a big rift between Christians and spiritualists over terminology. So that's why I chose this question. Who wants to start?
Can I ask, how are you defining God? Like, what characteristics do you think a being needs to have to be considered God? Like, would you say eternality is something you think God has to have or possess?
No, honestly, I think anything could become a God to anyone. So I don't think something or a being needs to have specific characteristics to be considered God. I think the reason I also went for this question, if we get into like terminology, is when we talk about the universe based off its scientific definition, it is everything that encompasses matter, antimatter, all space, all time, and God is to be omnipresent. So if he is all space and all time and everything on this earth is of his creation, then everything outside of this earth would also be of his creation. And also historically, when they talk about the heavens, they're normally referencing the sky, space, things that are expansive. So that is the universe, is how I normally apply it. So when I think about the God, or God is the universe, I think about God being bigger than just this planet that we live on. I just kind of make God larger, I think, than how it was presented to me in Christianity.
I would be curious to know, do you think presence has to be identical to identity? For example, you're present in that chair.
Mm-hmm.
Does that mean you have to be identical to the chair, or is there room for distinction?
I think there's room for distinction.
Okay, and so would you be willing to extend that to God in the same sense? Because you mentioned omnipresence.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when having this conversation, sometimes there's like a divergence of perspectives because people usually think that omnipresence equals identity. And obviously the Christian doesn't think that. The Christian would say that God's presence is distinct from his identity, which is
okay, fine. God's presence is distinct from his identity. Fear, how does her being on the chair explaining that? Because being on the chair is very different than occupying the same space that the chair occupies. Like, she's not the chair. She's not like in the same space as the chair. Actually, positionally, she is on top of the chair. Right? So she would not be occupying the same space as the chair. So you're referencing her sitting in a chair doesn't actually do anything at all with your argument. And then you just made the argument as if you proved something. I don't like this. This one is a fox. I don't like this.
Is why you have scriptures in the Bible in 2 Chronicles where it says the eyes of the Lord go to and fro on the face of the earth, seeking who he can show himself strong to.
Yeah, the eyes of the Lord go to and fro trying to figure out who he can show himself to. That's very strange and very different than omnipresence. Being able to see something is not the same as being somewhere. When you say you're omnipresent, you are everywhere. So don't sit up there and say he's not actually everywhere. He just can see everywhere. Girl, please. That ain't what I was told. That is not what I was told.
So how would that make sense? Obviously, I'm sure we don't agree that Yahweh is the same God that you're serving, but if we're talking about Yahweh, how would that make sense?
So I want to make sure I understand the question. We're asking if God can be more than the fact that...
Yeah, no. That's not the question. You said the universe is God, and she said, well, how can Yahweh, my God, be the universe and everywhere when you ain't never made that claim? That is your God. You said nothing about Yahweh. You, ma'am, do not engage with this. If you engage with this, I'm going to shut this down after this prompt because you now pissed me off too. If you don't make the distinction between her God and your God, we going to have a problem. Because she said, prove to me that my God is actually you and the chair and everything else. Prove to me that when you ain't never made that claim. You said the universe is God, and she's saying, prove to me that her God is the same and everywhere when you ain't never said that.
He is present everywhere. Is that?
No, I'm asking, why does it have to be omnipresence equals identity? Because it seems like you're saying
she ain't never said nothing about you and God and omnipresent. She said the universe is God. That is her only claim. And you said, prove to me that my God is the universe. And she should say, well, why would I do that? I don't care nothing about what you believe. That's her only answer. That is, honestly, when she starts talking, if she does not say this, please note that this is where I end. This is where I end this live stream. Because it's starting to piss me off because they're not engaging with what she's saying and they're asking her to prove something she ain't claiming. She's trying to prove the things she ain't claim instead of holding them to the fire, like their feet to the fire. Like,
because God is omnipresent, that means he is in
universe.
everything. He is the universe. And I'm not finding how that.
Okay. I think if a painter were to paint something.
Oh my God, she does. I can't. Why would you do this? They ask you to prove something about their God that you ain't made a claim about. And now you're trying to prove that their God is the thing that you believe is the universe. Really? You gonna really sit up there and try to prove that their God is you and their God is the chair? Like, why would you do that? By their God, it's my God, right? Like, I understand that she believes when New Ager said, God is the universe. They're like, how dare you say my God is the universe? My God is separate from the universe. But that's not what she said. And now she out here talking about a painter and fool. Like, girl, ain't nobody got time for your foolishness either.
Thing, we would say that is an expression of the artist. That's normally why they create something. So I think you're always going to have, as a God of such magnitude, identity is kind of intertwined with your presence. Like, if God is all-knowing, well, then that is something bigger than just this planet, knows more than just this planet, created more than just this planet. So it is not that God is the universe as we can see it or can't see it, as far as like the solar systems in the galaxy. It means God is all things and God is within all things. So nothing is removed in that sense. So it's not that his identity is the universe. I don't identify him as he even. It's just a larger, more expansive way of encompassing how big God is or how much could go into what God is.
Last question.
Sure.
And by extension, would you say that we are all God as well, since
Yes.
we're part of the universe?
Mm-hmm. Okay. We are made in his image, or so.
I just want.
She didn't answer the question. She didn't have to answer the question. This is useless. Absolutely nothing was moved forward here. So after this prompt, we're done. Because I'm pissed. Because none of that, like it's very difficult. You cannot prove that God is the universe, right? But at least argue in some way to lead us down that path that there is some like good faith engagement here. There's not a good faith engagement. They're just talking. They're literally just yapping. They're literally just talking about nothing. I am. Because the claims that the New Ager is actually making, they're slam dunks for the Christians. Like, you can, if you literally question her up there about her claims, it's very difficult for her to prove any of this. It is very difficult, probably impossible, for her to prove any of her claims. If the Christians were sitting there, it would also be very difficult, depending on the claim, for them to prove the claims either. And because of that, you don't have to be making claims as a Christian. Just go up there and interrogate hers. But you're too prideful. You want to preach. You don't actually want to engage in any meaningful. You just want to sit there and be haughty. And that's why you look dumb.
I wanted to touch on your painting analogy.
Yeah.
because it sounds like you said everything in the universe is God, and that I guess the painting would be an extension of the painter's identity. But I think you're making a claim that there's shared identity when you say like the universe is God. So you would be making a claim that the painter and the painting have a shared identity. And I don't think that, because if we look at it, the painter doesn't depend on the painting to exist, but the painting depends on the painter to exist.
8 down. This question, lady, first one making sense. This is the first one to come up here dragging the new Ager for real. Right here. First one. I'm Tina them. She the first one.
So there's a distinction. And most we've established a connection or some type of dependence, but not necessarily established a shared identity.
Period. 8 down.
Okay, making sure I understand.
Yes, there's a distinction between the painter and the thing that he painted or she painted. There's a distinction between the creator and the created.
So the painter does not depend on the painting, but the painting depends on the painter. Can you elaborate?
No, I will not elaborate. I refuse to elaborate. If I had to elaborate that, I'm just going to walk off the stage. What do you mean? The painting does not exist without the painter. The painter can and does exist without the painting. I'm confused as to why you can't understand that.
What I mean is, the painter can exist without the painting existing. The painting can't exist without the painter. So how do they share an identity?
Oh my gosh, she said, let me explain and just repeat it. Period. Let me explain is insane. And then just repeat exactly what you... Period. I am so disgusted. By the level of discourse.
When the criteria for their existence is different.
I don't think it is necessarily the portrait or the canvas itself. That is the object in which the painting goes on to. When I reference the painting, I'm referencing the expression. So what did they put in the painting? So let's say the painter painted the earth. Well, if the painting is the earth, the painter very well could not exist without the earth. So then it gets thrown back into each other. So I guess that's how I'm looking at it.
Oh, I think that's cute. I actually like that worldview, but it's still not, it doesn't make sense. The way she explains it does not make sense. The expression is the painting, the finished product, right? But it had to have existed somewhere else, like in the minds of someone in some parts before it was expressed, right? And so maybe there is an argument, but it becomes very esoteric to say that the painting existed before it was expressed. Actually, I find that very convincing. As an argument from like a faith-based argument, I find that very convincing, actually. Point to New Ager and point to Christian. First of its
I'm not understanding, I should say, where we're going. Like when we say the painter and the painting have to be separate from one another because they do not depend on each other, what does that have to do with the former question?
So
no, I understand. No, I also understood her. I didn't think it was explained properly, but I do understand her. And I'm not saying it's right. I'm saying I can buy that worldview. I can buy that worldview.
When you say the universe is God, all things in the universe are God, that means they share an identity. They share an existence.
Can we elaborate on identity? I'm sorry, I just want to hear, because you both use that same word, and I'm just trying to see what that means more so to you guys.
When we say the universe is God, we're saying that the terms are interchangeable because they share the same identity. They're referring to the same being. But using the analogy we talked about with the painter and the painting, the same for a being to exist the way it does, there's certain criteria that it must meet. And the painting depends on the painter to exist. That's a criteria for the painting to exist. Whereas the painting...
Yeah, but you are describing something that is specifically physical, right? And she's saying that the painting as an expression existed before it was in the physical. That's essentially what is being said. But I do get her confusion. I do like her argumentation here. She did okay. I appreciate that there was some level of intellect. I'm still ending it after this prompt because I'm annoyed.
It doesn't rely on that same criteria. So they exist by different criteria. How can they exist by different criteria and exist as the same being?
I guess because we're talking about two different beings, we're already going to be on a different page with that, because what you believe a being needs in order to be considered a being, I do not believe a being needs in order to be a being. So there's going to be that differentiating factor. So when I say God is the universe, I'm not saying, I mean, I do believe there are different names, like we've called God Yahweh, Elohim, Jehovah Jireh, however you want to take it. So we could say God is the universe. That allows me, I think sometimes as spiritualists that were former Christians.
Oh my God, thank you. I've that Tretinoin. I cannot praise Tretinoin more. And I need them to give me a sponsorship if they give sponsorship out, because I'm willing and we're ready. I'm willing and able. I'm willing and able. Because there's no singular thing that has gone on my face that has given my skin the kind of bounce that it needed to put on all the other kind of things that I put on my face. But that is a thing that, like, my skin feels the best it has ever felt in my entire life. That includes when I was a child. To be fair, I don't remember much. But yeah. Thank you, by the way.
There is a trauma around using church terminology. So when I left the church, I left the church and then I left Christianity. I didn't leave Christianity first. But once I left Christianity, I did kind of push away from things that felt like church terminology. So I used the universe as something larger until I realized we're all still kind of reaching for the same thing, something bigger, something greater, something with more understanding. But because I don't understand outside of this planet, and I don't even really understand too much on this planet because there's a lot happening here, I feel like I can call God by a bigger name.
You want to know something? Part of the animosity that I feel, I understand it, but I hate it. They have rejected her because she's not a Christian. And the rejection does not allow for any kind of, like, I'm not even asking for sisterhood, but like, even kindness. Like, it almost feels like if they are kind to her, they'll invite evil spirits to them. And so that does feel like cult-like, where if you're not a part, I cannot even be. I can't give you grace. Like the icing out in the conversation, the unwillingness to hear her or be kind to her at all is just really sad. You in the US, if you're in the US, you cannot get it without a prescription. And when you do get it, because you can just go to a dermatologist and have them ask for it, I would test it somewhere first, because I heard that there are people who are sensitive to it. I'm not. I just be rubbing that on like lotion. I be rubbing. Like before I go to bed at night, it's supposed to be like a pea drop and put it on, and then I have all kinds of moisturizers and acid that I put on my face.
Name. So when I say God is the universe, I really just mean God is all things. God is within you. God is you. You are sitting here. I know how you guys feel about that. I know. I saw it happen. I felt it. I felt it shit. I just mean God, the power of God, if we want to say it how we would in the church, there is something about God's essence that is within you. As he is the painter, and then you would be then the painting. You are an expression of God. You are something related to God. If Jesus is the Son of God and we are siblings to Jesus, you are God. So that's what I mean when I say that. But
yeah, that's cute, New Ager, period, eat down. But that's very different than saying you are God. To say you have his essence, their essence, God's essence, is very different than to say you are God. That's a very different leap. You were made in his image does not mean you were made exactly to be him. Good job, girl. Don't play in my face. Y'all be playing. What that girl? Technology. Who said? Oh, that was Jay-Z. Ew. I would never quote that man.
I know we're supposed to go.
How long would you say the universe has existed?
Billions of years. However long scientists have said the universe exists, however well they can predict.
So do you believe that the universe is created?
Yes.
So if...
No, this I need to ask the question, because these Christians really be thinking that the earth is like 2,000 years old. Wait, what? If you're a Christian in the chat, how old do you think the universe is? How actually not the because the way y'all be sitting up here, and I actually thought this was a joke. I thought this was a joke, but like apparently people really do up here believe that. Yo, yeah. Apparently Christians really do believe that the earth is like only 1,000 years. Let me look up this. Yes, there are Christians who believe that the earth is 6,000 years old. The Christians, the Christians who believe that the earth is 6,000 years old, and I just want to find one of them. Because, like, they be up here interpreting Genesis in a way that don't make no kind of sense to me. So instead of 4.5 billion years old, they're like, I'm going to go with 6,000. I don't even know why, because you don't actually have to, you literally don't have to believe that. You don't have to believe that to believe in the Bible.
Universe is created, but you're saying the universe is God. How do you?
God existed before the heavens and the earth. Where was he before then? Who created God? Was God created then? I guess that would be my rebuttal to that, because that's normally how we
Well, those are questions, but like, what would be your answer to how can God be eternal and the universe be non-eternal, and they both be the same thing?
Well, I don't know if we know if the universe is non-eternal.
Science, the data says that
it'll collapse within on itself, but it's supposed to be more of a compression, not a complete removal of. So if that's the case, but even if it weren't the case, because I see the shaking of the heads, I don't see the difference between if the universe has an end, where was God's beginning is still going to be my question. I only have.
Girl, I heard someone say dinosaurs were demons. I don't. The things y'all believe is actually kind of diabolical. Someone said dinosaurs were demons, and that's why the people, even when we try to do carbon aging, that it's demonic. Girl, I was like, period, king. Period, king.
A question for your question. I do not have an answer to your question, because I have questions too.
But if the claim is the universe is God, like there has to be some type of
reason,
truth claim that, like, why do you believe that?
So again, the universe is God. All things within creation, I believe to be of God. A form.
Yeah. She asking why.
God. When I say the universe is God, I do not think the universe is consciously creating things. I think there is something bigger than the universe that is filling.
So you don't think the universe is God? You think part of God's essence is in the universe? You don't actually believe the universe is God?
This expansiveness that keeps happening. There is something bigger than that. So when I say the universe is God, I'm including the universe the same way I would Earth. The way God created the Earth, God created the universe. But it does not mean that I believe that the universe is the all great being. So I don't want that to be the confusion or the misunderstanding.
That is the misunderstanding. That is literally your claim. You said the universe is God. You didn't say the universe is a God, one of them gods, part of God, a consequence of God, created by God, an expression of God. You said the universe is God. So if you're saying there is a God that created the universe and actually the universe is not God, then you defeated your own claim that you just made. So it's a chap for you too. It's a chap. Nah.
Standing.
Okay, so sorry. So there is a distinction then you're saying. So now you're not saying that the universe is God. You do believe in a being that created it.
All right. So she gets number one, and the other girl beside her gets number two. These two Christians ate down, period.
Than that. But yeah, I think when I say universe, and spiritualists often say universe, we are
I knew what no, you don't. No. This is the same thing that happens in Christianity, where people say a bunch of foolishness and it feels right. She said the universe is God, and she can't defend it because then she's saying, no, I'm not saying the universe is God. That's contradictory. That is contradictory, and that don't make no sense. It feels right. Maybe there is a spiritual knowing, but on a conscious, logical level, it don't make no sense. It don't make no sense. And I'm unfortunately my third eye ain't open yet. I closed my third eye last week. It's in it's under my third eye is under construction. So I can't see. So someone need to explain it in the physical for me.
Not necessarily just referring to space.
So not
I am mostly joking, by the way. I don't want you guys think I'm like annoying.
Cosmology.
No, not cosmology.
Okay.
Just big, just universe, spirit. Because sometimes I don't call God universe. I will say spirit, I will say source, and sometimes I will say God. I consider myself to be culturally Christian, but personally spiritual. So sometimes my terminology flips. But again, that's why I chose this question. Because no matter which way it seems like we're going, like
culturally Christian, I get that. I do. I understand it, but I might need you to unlearn that immediately. Because you've been brought up in a culture that is Christian, you're gonna use Christian language to kind of express who you are, even though you believe something else, you're more spiritual. It becomes kind of confusing, and it doesn't feel like you actually it feels like you're still under whatever you believe to be a bondage. So yeah, I don't like it.
I'm just curious to know, at what point did you decide that God the Father, Jesus Christ, Holy Spirit was no longer God, and now you're ascribing God?
I didn't say they weren't.
Oh,
see, I knew.
Interesting. So what is? Because it sounds like you have kind of like a smoothie religion going on. Okay, so what are all of the ingredients in that?
So I grew up in a Christian household. My father is a pastor, so the Trinity, those are gods, but those are gods like the Greek gods and like Egyptian gods and like the Orishas.
Oh.
All the gods that exist are considered to be gods.
Oh, she gonna piss them off. She done pissed them off. She pissed them off because she pissed me off. So period. I know they piss.
So when I think of them, oh boy, this will get very complicated. I think of them in the sense of, I don't know how to say this without getting in trouble. The way I teach it to my coven, the way I teach it online is that we creative gods. The gods are egregores. So an egregore is an idea that humans invest energy into, and then you can feed off that energy. You can feel it. You can feel it. So think about all of us being villagers. We have a well. We pour water into the well. Everybody can then pull from the well, but everybody might get their water to put in the well from somewhere else. You may pull it from the river. You might pull it from your sink. I may pull it from the toilet. But either way.
So I like readings on like the collective unconscious and the concept of God as an egregore is fascinating to me, but also like I can understand how over time we've created something that is autonomous. Like in a lot of anthropology and sociology, there's this idea that we create gods in an effort to explain the world and engage with the world and understand the world, right? So like, I don't think what she's saying is far-fetched. There is a discomfort, and I'm trying to understand. I mean, obviously I'm Christian, so there's obviously that discomfort there, but there is something unexplained, because then would the creator of the universe be an egregore? Because she described an entity that is the first mover, right? She described something that is God, that is separate from the universe, that created the universe. So if it created the universe, how do we then create that thing that is God, right? Unless she's saying your specific God is an egregore, right? It's a conception of human imagination coming together and then having autonomy after so much mental energy is given to it. You know what I mean? Maybe she's specifically talking about the God of the Bible and not the actual God that she believes in, that is the creator of the universe. So that's kind of how I'm thinking about it. At least that's how it makes sense for me. But I also don't think she understands what she's saying. Yet she's teaching it to her coven, and people were dragging me when I said she said witch. But here we.
all the water goes into
Mind you, no one was dragging me. No one dragged me. 0 people dragged me on my thumbnail.
well, and then we pull from that. So when I think of the gods, all of these seem to be a way that humans are trying to understand everything that we are experiencing. So when I decided that the Christian God and God the Father, so on and so forth, were not.
Yeah. No, I agree. No. I actually fully agree. When I was thinking, I didn't know if my reference to American gods and like, you know how the gods were losing power because people didn't believe in them, right? The Greek gods also have this reality, but that's kind of what I was thinking about. How like even technology became a god and became personified in a kind of autonomous being that can do things and have power. I actually did think of American God, but I didn't make the reference out loud. So yeah. So if enough people believe something, that thing becomes real.
My God, it just meant that I no longer identify with the relationship that I had with him personally. I have parents. I'm sure y'all got parents because we're all here. So I decided my relationship with my father. Crystals possess genuine healing and spiritual energy that can positively impact our lives. Relationship that I had with the Christian God, I do not identify the Christian God to be my father, my creator, my maker. So, and I don't identify or agree with certain things that belong to the faith. So I separated myself from that religion. I do not deny your God because the way in which I understand it, everybody's gods could be real. So it's not that I don't believe in him. It's not that I don't believe he has power. I just don't believe he has power over me.
So do you believe all of those religions can be true when they have contradictory beliefs?
Yeah.
How is that possible?
Because we are all here with contradictory beliefs. We all exist in a sort of differentiating field.
Like everyone has contradictory beliefs. Like we're all slightly hypocritical, some more than others. Ate that down.
Your belief and I have my belief. So we're already sitting here in a contradiction, but we are still coexisting.
But there still has to be a standard of truth, though. You can't just say two things can be true at the same time.
But we can, and we do often.
Okay, what do you mean? You have free will and God knowing all and created you. Like, stop. Y'all bother me because y'all don't even, not you all, obviously. Like, these people aren't even thinking about what they're saying before they're saying. You're just trying to be accusatory. You're trying to accuse her. You're trying to cross-examine her. But you are not even... Don't piss me off. Can't be...
But that doesn't mean that's true, though.
But that doesn't mean that it's untrue.
Well, but you would have to...
The proof that you want me to provide is something that I would expect you to provide. But unfortunately, none of us are dead right now. So nobody's going to know until all of this is said and done. And even then, will we really know?
Why do you have to die to know whether or not something is true? Like, I know your dress is...
How you know God is real then? Because I'm with New Ager person right now. New Ager just ate that up. Like, wait, no. Don't piss me off, lady.
White. I don't have to die to know that. So if there's evidence of certain things.
But knowing what the truth is would mean knowing things in totality. So if the finalization of Christianity is all of this fading away and then there's heaven, you have to die to get to heaven.
Are you saying you have to know everything to know that certain things are true?
No, I'm saying
you said it has to be known in totality.
The fundamental thing is that Jesus died on the cross for your sins and rose from the dead. Let's say he died on the cross. We can do history for that. Let's get to the part where he rose from the dead. How you know that happened? God created men and women from men's ribs. How you know that happened? Quickly. Oh. So it's only for her. You're only testing her, not yourself.
You want me to answer?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Okay. If you have to get to heaven, you have to die to get there. That is a big portion of the Christian truth, is that God is all of the...
Yeah, my pastor hate to see me coming. Whenever he's in like a group, any of my pastors, after I talk to them 1 or 2 times, anytime I'm going up to them, they get real busy. And move, like I gotta go out. Every single time they get real busy. It's so annoying.
This story that goes with God, Revelations, all of that, that is basically a prophecy. So all of that would need to be brought forward. Certain things.
In truth, they are combative. Then maybe they're Christians for real. Because I'm not combative, but I am confrontational. I am kind. I am sweet. I think I'm a good person, or at least I try to be a good person, but I am very confrontational. I am very confrontational. That's probably something that my mom should have checked when I was a child, but instead she encouraged it. This is actually my mom's. Who I am is fully my mom's fault. Who I am is fully my mom's fault. Because when mothers were shutting children up, she would be like, "Okay, stop yelling and explain to me why you think you're right." And then I would stop throwing a tantrum. And repeatedly, I just feel like now I get to argue with everyone, and that's just that.
That happened in the Bible happened thousands of years ago, according to the Bible. So, based off my current reality, what I know to be true is not the Christian God. That's just how I look at it. But what would make me a believer, if I die and then there is a heaven and I am reviewed during Judgment Day? Well, it's going to be too late. But then I would be a believer. But that is a big portion of the truth. And because that is not something that can.
She said, if I die and go to hell, then I'll be a believer. Wait, that ain't even right. She's like, okay, when I die and go to hell, then I'll be a believer. Period. I'll believe in hell burning.
Be accessed while alive, and you do have to die for that. That's why I can't identify with that. I hope I said that in a way. Thank you guys for the questions, though. I appreciate it.
All right, well, this is useless. Y'all said it gets better, so I do know this second half. I did watch Sin second half. This is the part that I did watch, the second half. So I was about to say I might come back tomorrow. Completely forgot. Y'all, completely forgot that I'm on vacation, but I did something. Let me tell you something that I did today. I love her. Which one? Which one? Hi, V. How are you? Missed you. Hug, hug, hug. Let me go in there. Let me tell you something that I did today that is absolutely diabolical. And it speaks to something that is fundamentally broken in me. So let's go into the after show. Take these comments off. I might private this just because, but I'll keep it up for a second. Let me go into the after show, and I'm gonna tell you what I did today that says something about something broken in me, capitalism, patriarchy, and all of that. Oh, no. I'm going to go live, mostly for members on my vacation. Absolutely. I love going live. So I'm on vacation as of yesterday, right? Tell me why. This morning I woke up, went for my 1 mile jog, came back, got my green tea, right? Got my green tea, clean up my place, made my bed because I don't like making my bed right after I get up. I make my bed after I go for a run, and literally got into the shower, came out, and I was like, oh, I don't have my outfit pick out for today. I hate that. So I had to go find out my outfit, put my backpack on, jumped on the train, got to the office, pulled out my laptop, sat down, type. I look up and I text Kilo and DJ immediately when I looked up. I'm on vacation. I literally froze. Like something is broken in my. I literally froze because I sat at my desk. I'm literally at my desk in my office, door closed. I literally went upstairs, got my coffee, came back downstairs with my coffee and my protein yogurt, and I sat there and I'm about to start typing away. And I'm like, oh, no one's emailing me, period. Ain't done. I look up and I saw the airplane thing in my email, which means I'm traveling. And I'm like, crap. I got ready and went to work on my vacation. That's how automatic my mornings are. And I should have known something was off when I didn't even have like the outfit choices to pick from in the morning. I was like, that's weird. I don't have my outfit. Now I got to iron or whatever. And I did not iron. I literally wore this because I was like, what am I going to wear? I don't know what I'm going to wear. And then I just threw this on. I don't throw clothes on. I literally have my clothes prepared. And I went to work and I was like, yeah, no, I need this break. No. My flight was this week. I gave myself a buffer. Because guess what? I'm gonna try to make a vlog, but this might be really bad. You can tell, but I'm in my second room. And I've known about this vacation for 4 months now. And every weekend, I go out shopping for this vacation, for clothes for this vacation. And because I don't want to see what I bought, I buy things, I put them in the closet. And I keep putting them in the closet. And today I took them out. Girl, why's the closet packed? There are so many bags. There are so many bags. I'm gonna donate. I'm gonna donate pretty much all of them. I am gonna donate all, like, put everything, because I don't plan on getting a check bag. I only want to carry on and my backpack, and I've known this again, and I don't know how. Like, I legit don't. Yeah, no. I'm gonna It's not the old stuff. All the new stuff getting donated. So what I'm gonna do is I've been planning to do like another vlog for a while. So I'm gonna kind of go through, and I don't know why I'm telling you all this. I'm gonna donate pretty much all of it because that's kind of sick. Like, I'm not. I don't know how I sound, but I'm genuinely disgusted with just how wasteful that has been for the last 3 months. Anyway, no, I know. Because I want to travel more, it has become too tiring to travel with check bags and all of that. So like I need to be able to simplify enough. And I'm going to be away for 2 weeks. So this check bag situation is absolutely diabolical. This I'm gonna do a carry on is kind of diabolical. It is kind of diabolical. Like, it don't even make sense. Oh, no. Ain't no dress for success. No. Oh, y'all will see. I'm gonna try on everything I bought. That's my goal tomorrow. I'm gonna attempt to try on everything I bought. I am, but ain't no dress for no success. It's dress for zipping it and sewing it. it's just for zipping. When I donate this, I'm pretty sure people. Some of them are really expensive, actually, but I'm sure people are going to be like, absolutely not. You know, I'm. Not going to show y'all anything on here. Just know that from 9 to 5, you don't wear what I'm wearing. Anyway, we'll see. I'll show you. Have a wonderful night. Oh, thank you, V. There's one with Kilo and myself, Kilo, DJ, and Mocha. And we have, I should just put it together, but I have not. I'm going to try to put that together too. But I'm also terrible at like vlogging. I'm going to get back into writing though. My blog, I need to write on. So yeah. Anyway, thank you all. I'm going to go to the gym because someone said the body is the outfit. I forgot who said that. And I was like, oh, period. So let me get it together. Anyway, I do love you all. Thank you so much. I will see you all next week and the week after. I will not be in this setup. Hopefully everything will go well. But yeah. Bye.